what's up? Yeah. Riders, 667ers, degenerates and generals.
True.
Another episode, Meanwhile on Earth. We're at number 5, which is actually my favorite number.
Congratulations. Wow, that's
here
awesome.
So it's appropriate.
Yeah,
here with the GOAT himself.
Your least favorite person to represent your favorite number. Let's go.
I'm all about duality. You know? You know what I mean?
Yo, what's good, everybody? How's it going?
Up, man?
What's cracking? You know?
Shit.
Yeah, I've been feeling the podcast so far.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks.
Enjoying it. Sat's episode was super entertaining.
Hilarious,
he is
right?
So incredible, bro. Oh, I love it. What's it feel?
Yeah, what is?
I'm about to smoke this and put it in my lungs. I'm about to light this on fire and then breathe it in.
So I'm gonna get high. What?
Oh, it was killing me.
What's a podcast?
I love it. It was so good.
So yeah. How long has it been now? It's been about like it's only the second week, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Second week, 5 in.
You've been
Let's
just
go.
Popping them out, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm hyped to have you on. You're
sure.
in town for
the Bodied premiere, red carpet premiere is tonight.
Yeah.
And
so what's your feeling on Suits?
I didn't even know that we were.
You're not supposed to. Yeah. Joseph Kahn, you know.
It crossed my mind today.
Hating
honestly,
bastard.
It crossed my mind today. I was like, damn, do I overdress for this thing and get all suited up, and then I'll be suited up on the podcast as well? You know what I'm saying? And this isn't like what I'm wearing to the premiere.
That's what I would have preferred, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ignored the podcast dress code as well. And
have you not seen these things?
And then Lush told me that he was saying something about wearing a suit, and I was like,
"So you wearing the shirt?"
But then
you wearing the shirt, blood?
But then I was like, well, maybe they just like don't want Lush to wear like 4 do-rags and an open
He's
tee.
like, I'm just wearing a Givenchy sash.
Oh, you got a top?
I'm just wearing my designer tats, blood. Yeah, I decided I wasn't going after I seen Diz talking about how he's gonna dress better than everyone.
Oh, word!
Yeah.
See
and
that
shit on everyone again.
See, to me
like,
that
I'm
makes
out.
sense. Yeah,
I'm out.
To me that makes sense, and that's why I'm gonna just like casually underdress and still, you know, it's casual, formal, but whatever.
You don't want to compete with the suit version of the patent leather dollar shirt. He's the regenerating
the patent leather dollar turtleneck with short sleeves.
Yeah, half turtleneck.
Yeah, with short sleeves.
The baby turtleneck.
Damn, that was a game changer.
Yeah, I was like, no, I won't be outdone. I'm not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
That's why you did it.
As soon as I seen it, I responded. I'm not going now, and
because
I'm not.
of that.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Y'all are going on Sunday, right?
Yeah,
that's gonna be fire.
Sunday with the Ruin Your Day squad. So there's hella tickets left, but there's like 40 that are pre-sold, and I can almost guarantee those are all fucking ride or die squad and fam.
That's lit.
Fans and shit. Yeah,
I seen
so
that
it'll be a good
Eminem bought
event.
out 2 theaters in Detroit to go see it tomorrow night for the opening.
Sick.
Yeah.
Just like 50
all
50
day, like
did
50
Ja Rule.
did Ja.
He's just like, I bought all the tickets. No one's gonna see this thing. First 4 rows empty.
No, he was like, this is on me, basically. He was like, if you're in Detroit,
sick.
go
First
see it
come,
on me.
first
Yeah,
serve.
exactly.
That's tight.
Yeah, super dope.
That's hella tight.
Yeah. So kind of the opposite of what 50 did.
Right? Yeah.
Which
you
is
see the memes and it's like him in the front.
It's
like
the greatest. That is the greatest like petty troll of.
How old is 50 now? He's like
50.
He
How old
can't be
is
too
50?
old. 50.
He's in it. I mean, he's got to be in his 40s, right?
Yeah. 43.
Damn.
I vote.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 43 and trolling the shit. How old is that beef? It's like
2 decades at least now, right? It's got to be.
And it's like a Diz still trolling Jonai. It's like, yo,
it's the mainstream version.
He's gone.
Of that. Yeah,
he's dead.
Yeah, he's gone.
Why?
Bro.
Why?
And still, every now and then, the garbage video pops up with Diz in a dumpster. Where he's impersonating Jonah. Oh, bro.
So good.
At like once every 6 weeks.
Garbage.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, that was so you haven't seen it yet, right?
No, I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm really excited for that aspect alone. It should
Tonight?
be dope. Yeah, it should be tight.
That's fire. There's been, you said you were mentioning there's good reviews and shit.
Yeah,
New York Times
it seems like it's been really well received. So that's, I mean, it makes me look forward to it even more. Obviously, like even having a small part in it makes it even cooler, of course. And then seeing like all of our friends to begin with is fire. Yeah. I want to just see how it all falls out, because I read the script, of course, just like being a part of it, but
I did.
I want to. Oh damn! That's.
I had Chase speed read it. I'm like, should I do it? Should I take this part? And he's like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, all right.
Oh, nice. That's gracious of you.
Should I bless this film?
Chill that your agent gave you the pass, though. Otherwise, damn. Otherwise, I don't know who I would have been on screen with.
I would have
had to take the Billy Pistols role, probably. Well, I got offered the Billy Pistols role.
Really?
Yeah. Joseph hit me up and said, he was like, look, like, we want you guys
Sharon is perfect.
He said, that's what I've heard, too. And that's awesome. Like, good for him. But Joseph hit me up, and he basically, like, was like, look, we want to have, he said, I want to have you and Il as a part of the movie in any capacity that we can. He's like, these are basically the options. If you want to audition for a bigger role, you can audition for the role of Billy Pistols. And he basically, like, explained it as, like, the Billy Boondocks character. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, or we have, like, a scene that's basically, like, written for you and Il, where you guys are going to be watching a battle but sort of providing commentary on it, almost on some, like, old guys in the balcony at the Muppets type of thing. And I was like, all right, word. And my response was essentially, I'd rather play myself than play myself. And,
that's great.
Yeah. And Joseph was like, awesome, man. See you, you know?
Yeah.
They showed me all the info. It was hella fun, just like being on set, too. That shit was tight.
Yeah, man.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything looks on screen as well, because I remember, like, in the warehouse that we were in for that scene, the way the battle stuff was set up and shot, I was so curious how it was going to actually look on camera. Because I know he was very big on that. He was like, I want it to still, like, look authentic, but obviously I have to film it, like, as a movie director. You know what I'm saying?
It's super dynamic, for sure. I can't wait to see it again.
Fire.
I peeped it at one of the festivals,
like one of the
out
LA
here
premieres?
in LA.
Yeah, that's tight.
And it's, I think it's super visually stimulating too. Dope. And the funny thing about it is, you'll see, I don't want to get too into, I think it's like, with the times, as far as like what's going on in the social spectrum, I think it's aged well.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna
it's
gonna help
its
reception.
It aged in the right direction
because of the conversation and dialogue that happens within it. I think is even more pertinent than
it was when we filmed
2
it.
years. Yeah, exactly. 3 years ago, or whatever.
That's really dope.
Yeah, shit's tight.
Good. I hope it, continues to be as well received as it has been so far, because it's insane. The reviews for it so far have been crazy. Like, it's crushing every festival it's done. It's crushed and won some type of fan favorite award, or something like to that equivalent, which is impressive enough. The Rotten Tomatoes score is crazy too, which I'm not like banking on that. When I see that a movie is rated in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, that's not going to make me be like, well, it's got to be good.
Right. Could be the government or something. How do you remember how it did it get the fan favorite at the One Dimensional Gunline Punchline Festival?
Where was that?
Premiere?
Where was that in Stockton?
yeah. It was at the Oakland Metro. I think
dope,
it was
dope. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think Fox gave him the award, if I'm not mistaken.
Not the network, just the clothing brand.
No, the human. The clothing brand.
Same thing.
Yo, did you know he's currently, or there? I don't know if it's right now today, but within the last 3 weeks or so, he was the #1 ranked NBA 2K player in the world. Within the last 30 days, that was a thing.
Who?
Fox.
Fox?
Yeah. Jay Fox.
SONS,
which is who I was referring to.
Yeah, I thought you meant. I was like, is this a Kobe Bryant joke?
No. He's like, in NBA 2K, the game. He's like, he was at one point within the last month, he was like literally the #1.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he goes ham on that shit. He has like a massive. He's like building a Twitch following and shit too.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't even think of a joke for that.
Yeah,
that's lit.
Shout out to Fox.
Yeah,
I mean, he was he used to be a ranked like Street Fighter player and some other fighting game. He's like insane on the video game tip, obviously. But yeah, now he just it's like his job. Just
That's sick.
NBA 2K hustle.
That's really. You've been on Twitch
savage.
too, right?
Yeah, I'm crushing.
I'm right. I've watched you. I don't know why. I was like, let me set this up for you.
You've done this thing that I witnessed for hours.
Right?
Yeah, twitch.tv/the Saurus wins. I'm streaming mostly just poker tournaments on there, and then I have instrumentals playing in the background. And then anytime someone donates or subscribes to the stream, I like kick a freestyle, incorporate, name, region, anything they type in the chat that they want me to say. And then I also do like a bit of, I guess, like rhyming hand analysis. Like while I'm playing the hand, I'm sort of going through, I'm in rhyme form explaining what's going through my head, which is, I'm definitely the only person in the Twitch poker spectrum doing that.
Yeah.
And the bigger Twitch poker grows, I think the more I can like sort of carve out a niche there.
Finesse that, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So do you only, because I think I've watched you live once, and then I've went back right after you won a tourney and watched the last 20 minutes once.
Yeah.
But is it just tourneys that you do, or you ever do fucking,
I only play tournaments
live
online. I only play tournaments online.
Yeah.
And,
why is that?
Okay, I'm basically technically like a site affiliate for a different skin of the site that I play on. So I play for a site or a network called the Winning Poker Network, which has America's Card Room. That's the main site that most U.S. players and a lot of internationals are playing on, but it's an unregulated site that Americans can play on because there's very few of those available to begin with. And I was offered like an affiliateship with a different skin that still runs the same tournaments, just under a different name as opposed to America's Card Room.
What's the skin? What is that?
It's just, it's like, so there's America's Card Room, there's Black Chip Poker, there's True Poker, there's Poker for You, there's Fab Poker, FAB, and all of those, like you can download any of those softwares. All of them are essentially America's Card Room. They're all just a different skin for America's Card Room.
Okay.
So I'm like an affiliate for one of those, and I basically have like monthly requirements that I have to meet. I can only play tournaments. I'm not allowed to play cash, but I'm also not risking any of my own money. So weekdays, like Monday through Saturday, I get anywhere from 1K to 1,500 in buy-ins. I have to play like a minimum of 5 tournaments per session, and 20 for the week, Monday through Saturday, if I want to play on Sundays. Sundays I get a little bit more in buy-ins because it's like the highest volume as far as tournaments go. There's a lot of bigger buy-ins, and there's the 2 biggest tournaments of the week. So I get 2K to fire on Sundays.
That's sick.
Yeah, and then it's
like insulation, but you obviously have to.
And then it's a 50-50, but I'm at no risk financially of my own.
That's really.
And then
tough.
if I hypothetically have like a losing month and I fall into makeup or something like that, then I have to play to get it back, but I still keep 25% of my profits instead of 50 going forward, and then the rest just goes towards them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
So that's been. Like that's like the full-time hustle for the most part, grinding that out.
October was a good month, right? I know you started off at least.
I had 2 outright wins on my stream, and then I had another second place for like 4,400. I was like plus 8K for October just online, which is super solid with me.
Let's go.
I'm hella happy. My old roommate Drew, Drew.
Yeah.
He just got second in a tournament in Tahoe 2 nights ago. It was just like a one-day tournament, $400 buy-in for 11K. Woo. And then my other homie, Rusty, on Monday, we played a tournament at the Venetian, a $400 buy-in, 100K, just like the one that I won. And usually when I play those tournaments with my friends, we'll swap percentages with each other. It's sort of an insurance policy type of thing. So he and I swapped 5% with each other, and he ended up getting third in it for 12K. So the tournament was only a 400 buy-in, so I got my entire buy-in back and then a couple extra 100, which is pretty fire. And then, we're just going to, there's like a big schedule that we're firing all month, basically.
That's hella tight.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
Full-time grind.
When you when you stream live, do you like do multi-table tournaments?
Yeah,
or just
I'm playing 6 tournaments or less at a time, and all of them are multi-table tourneys. Like I'm only the people that like run the site, they only want me playing like the bigger guarantees.
Right.
The spots that put me in the position to make the most money.
Yeah.
As opposed to like consistent small percentage profit.
Oh, okay, I got you. I meant like as in, are you multi-tabling?
Oh yeah,
like
multiple I'm playing
different tournaments
I'm
or
playing
whatever.
like 6 tourneys or less. That's how my Twitch is set up, so I can like click from table to table. Like someone set up my Twitch that way.
That's crazy. So all at once, while you're interacting with people, freestyling and every like
I'm playing
what?
6 tournaments. Yeah, I mean
You're a
the
fucking
thing
robot.
is, but you're folding 75% of hands that you're dealt to begin with.
Yeah.
So I still have some free time, and like peak is 6 tables. So towards the end of the night, we're getting down to 2 and 3 tables, which is better for me anyways, because then I can draw my focus into those alone, and it's also easier to wrap when I have less chaos to pay attention to.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
It just make me want to scream. Like I could barely focus on like watching a TV show. I'm like. Like all of my like multi-screening.
Usually it's just music in the background and then play.
That's crazy, man. So like I know the difference is one of them is you can multi-table, but the difference between like live play and online play, like which do you prefer? What are just some different?
I prefer playing live for sure.
Really?
I think it's a billion times softer. Most people playing online are, for the most part, a lot of them are regulars. You have a lot of software and information that's accessible online.
Yeah, you can like check players' history of folds and shit.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
That
I mean,
like,
I run it's called a HUD, a heads-up display, and you can basically customize what statistics you think are the most important to know about somebody, and then sort of adjust your attack or a strategy against them accordingly. Like you can basically, the most key things that you should have on there: how often does a person, it's called VPIP, voluntarily put money in the pot. So how often are they voluntarily calling or just putting chips, calling a raise? Then how often do they pre-flop raise? Is every time that they're first in the pot a raise, or did sometimes they limp in? How often do they 3-bet, meaning how often do they re-raise against someone who open raises? How often do they 4-bet? And then how often do they fold when put in the opposite side of those situations? And then you're trying to exploit that. I mean, there's people on the site.
So much information to process in such a quick amount of time.
And that's why when I'm playing 6 tables, it's very helpful. I can just hover my mouse over someone's name, a box pops up, and it'll just be like 25-14. 10-3.
And
I can just be like, okay.
This is.
I can just be like, oh, this guy's
is that their profile.
Exactly.
They don't raise before the flop.
Yep.
A lot, but they're doing it now. Maybe I should be more hesitant.
Like players who were like that, I have them marked in green. If a player's extremely tight, very passive and nitty, they're marked in green. That means you have the green light to blast all streets against them when you're in a pot against them, because it's very unlikely that they're going to be comfortable enough to end up like getting all the way to a river showdown with you and calling off their chips with a worse hand than like a set or top 2 pair. I mean, it always depends on board texture and things like that, but you have people who just basically refuse to get their money in with 1 pair, which is long term going to lose them a ton of money, and you're able to exploit them, or even just put them in spots based on like board textures where you can be pretty aware of like a range of hands that they have, and now you know how to exploit it based on what the board texture is. You just know that they never have a piece of it,
Yeah. So it makes sense that it's softer in real life, just because people are like, oh, I'll just go play some poker.
You have more casual.
You're not like having to download software and like learn how to use it, and it's like more of a commitment to play online.
And even just not having that like info box in front of you, you're a lot more susceptible to human error, even the good players. And a lot of the good players playing live, they're like more capable of spazzing off all of their chips than some of the casual recreational players. The casual recreational players, most of them you're able to exploit because they play too tight and too passively. So once you're able to pick up on that, you can just pretty much pounce and bleed them from chips. It's a slow death for them.
Right.
Whereas a lot of like the pros, when they get heads up, especially with another pro, they're sort of overthinking spots and trying to out-level each other, and they're more susceptible to make like huge blow-ups with marginal hands because they're just like, well,
I got all the information.
I have ace 5 suited here, which means it's 25% likely that he can have aces or ace king or ace or hands that have me dominated, things like that.
It's like having too much knowledge to consider.
It's leveling yourself into making bad decisions, which it happens a lot. And you also live, you have a ton of ego, especially like it's like more. I think it's like regionally dependent. Like here in LA, live poker is so ego driven, it is insane. It's a lot of.
It's very LA.
It's it fits the city. It's a lot of a lot of inexperienced casual players at the card rooms who are basically saying, I value X amount of dollars this little compared to you, and what. And
this is nothing to me.
Exactly, and you're just like, well, cool. It's something to me. If you're there to play, if you're playing to make money, like you want that all day. You know what I'm saying? There's just more that you can exploit live for sure, and I don't know, physical reads. It's a lot easier to physically read like casual, non-regular players, and the social element is the most fun, which is why I enjoy playing on Twitch, because now I finally have a social element to go with the online grind. Because online, it's work. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, we're clocking in for like an 8-hour day. If I want to make some good money today, it's going to be an 8-hour day, and it'll be worth it at the end of the day. But there's not going to be a lot of human interaction other than like some texts and some tweets and shit. But now that I have Twitch, I have, at least a few dozen people chatting. Exactly. I have like conversation I can feed off. And because of that too, more players on the site that I play on know that I'm streaming now, so they're more interactive just in the chat on the site, and they'll get more conversation going, which is good as well. And
you ever, so like you're, as far as like the pros, being susceptible to swings and stuff, what I've noticed, like I played, by no means, but I played a little bit. I played at casinos, this and that. Yeah. And what I noticed, like my mom is a great example. She knows how to play poker, as in like what the things to get up. Yeah, but
what like it takes to make a hand.
But there's not really any it's totally like old school, like go off the gut.
It's tunnel vision.
But she's so unpredictable.
Yeah,
like there's never, I can even like trying to get a read, or like for by contrast, her my stepdad, her husband Eric, he's more methodical. He's like read super system and he plays. I can get a read on him more often
because it's more ABC.
Or my mom will fuck around and like fold a top pair or something, or like call you to the end with the nuts, not know she has the nuts, or like raise you with you never know what.
The unpredictability factor.
And so there, I mean, have you ran across that?
A ton of times. A ton of times. And the way
it's like frustrating to play with those.
You have to basically, you have to be more willing to gamble, basically, because once you find out what they're capable of, you have to be more willing to gamble yourself. And you have to just know that, like, long term, as long as you're playing correctly, in theory, you should come out ahead. Yeah. You should definitely. And
my mom will, like, call you down with, like, nothing. One hand. Literally have nothing. Like, I just thought you didn't have anything. I'm like, but you didn't have anything. Like, you had the board.
I thought you were bluffing, but you can't beat a bluff.
Like, you didn't even try to bet. Yeah. But then next hand, she'll like check raise and have like it's
with the
there's
same
no
nothing.
strategy.
With the same nothing.
Yeah, there's no.
You just sort of have to. I mean, you have to be more willing to play like higher variance spots. Against players like that, you have to be like, okay, well, they're more willing to mix it up, so I have to be more willing to do the same with hands I wouldn't necessarily do the same with, especially against other pros where your edges are like so much more marginal. You should be like minimizing, you should be controlling the size of the pot, taking flops and trying to like minimize your losses against other good people, but you got to be like more willing to gamble against the loose cannons. Absolutely. Oh, it's good for the game too. It's absolutely good for the game.
And like I got second to the nuts. Like you could have that and not even know it,
and without without having the slightest clue, Even like you can even play that person occasionally. Like if I go play a small cash game or something like that, happily like play that person who's just reckless throwing chips around, because you're also, I mean, if you're aware of it, you can set a tone for the table that makes everyone loosen up around you. Yeah, and the next thing you know, everyone's like subconsciously playing worse, and
or even like slightly like recessive. Like, oh, I like it. It's
yeah,
funny.
you build
like,
the rapport with people.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, absolutely. People soft play against you and things like that for sure. That's all like positives again of the social element. Like you actually, especially the deeper you go in these tourneys and whatnot, you build table rapport with people. There's especially against like the older folks, like. If they start to like you, they're going to be a little more passive against you, and they sort of like they want to keep you around to talk to.
I just want to be here and suck on my Werther's original and chop it up.
Yo, you have a lot of people too that have way too much money to where winning the tournament is going to make a difference regardless, and they're just social gamblers. Right. They don't want to sit at the house all day and watch fucking
Matlock
home shopping network and fucking Antiques Roadshow, you know. Yeah. So they come down to the card room and hang out with the boys and whatever. If you lose $300-$400, like so be it. I got to hang out, have some drinks with the guys. We got to shoot the shit, tell some jokes. It's always a good time. Like anytime I mean, it sucks busting out of a tournament, especially one that you've invested a decent amount of money in. But you can always like find that you know what you signed up for. Especially tournaments are so high variance to begin with. You're only you
kind of got to go in and on like this is gone.
As soon as you, money, you have to write off the money as soon as you buy into the tourney. It can't mean anything to you to begin with. Otherwise, it's going to affect the way you approach it, for sure. Yeah. Because tournaments are, like, a great tournament player is cashing in 20% of the tourneys that they play. Yeah. Which isn't a lot. Right. You know what I'm saying?
But with buy-in in proportion to what they're taking down,
exactly.
It's like becomes...
And when you win one of them or something like that, you're looking at, like, 100 buy-ins or something along those lines.
Have you seen that movie? Because we've all seen Rounders, obviously classic. Which there's
Molly's
I'm
Game?
like I just watched that.
Molly's
the other
Game's
night.
fire.
So fire.
Okay, so my boy David.
If you haven't seen it, it's on. Is it on? No, it's not on Netflix.
It's not on Netflix.
I think Alfie bought it on.
It's
Apple
relatively
TV,
new. It's a true story. It's
fire.
It's 100% true story. My boy David Paredes, who's a pro, he's won a couple of major titles, but he's mostly like a full-time cash pro. He's from the East Coast area, lives just outside of Boston. He's been to a couple of the KOTD Boston events. He's actually the homie who got me my Larry Bird jersey.
Oh,
and
nice.
when I shout out his boy before the battle, R.I.P. Jay Farley, by the way, it was before the DNA battle, like where I first wore that jersey. And
then Jordans.
And shout out Big K. Shout out Big K. And that's hella funny. He, wow, I wore the same pair of shoes twice. Crazy. So,
he's on my ears.
It's actually not true.
It's actually not true. Somebody looked that up online.
That's hella funny.
Really?
Shout out to Battle fans looking it up.
Fact check.
So my boy David Paredes, though, he wrote a couple of scenes for that movie to begin with. He was like, because he played in Molly's actual game.
Damn.
And okay, so Michael Cera's character is actually Tobey Maguire in real life.
You know what? I was like, because back when I first started watching poker, even like 02 or whatever, like I was starting getting watching the World Series 03.
He was getting coached by Negreanu, and he started running over all these pros. Yo, he got audited for like $11 million in untaxed winnings. This happened shortly after she, got popped or whatever. He was one of the people in the book. He ended up getting popped for like $11 million. That's crazy, because
I honestly was like, I don't know. There's probably celebrities I don't know that play, but I know he's a player just from the World Series of Poker and shit.
I wish they would have picked.
Crazy.
Michael Cera's so likable that I wish they would have picked someone more douchey based on the character, how he because he's kind of a dick, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wish they would have made it someone.
He's kind of unlikable in the movie, or
but it's Michael Cera, and you're just like, it's like the kid from Superbad who couldn't harm a fly. You know what I'm saying? He's like a baby deer.
They should have got his stepbrother who was starting Facebook. The network.
Yo, real shit.
You know, the slightly 100%. Bootleg version of
the Zuckerberg. Yeah, I know exactly. Jesse,
they're two. I would always confuse them.
Jesse Eisenberg, I think is his name. Yeah. Yo, 100%. A little more dick, a little more unlikable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Damn.
But that was Tobey Maguire.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so my boy David wrote the scene.
This was
my boy David Paredes wrote the scene. Do you remember where the old guy folds like trips or something like that.
Yeah.
And he has a meltdown after because the fish, one of the fish's cards exposed,
and then he like just
goes on mega tilt and
yeah.
loses like $500,000 or whatever it is.
It's like 1.5 or some shit. Yeah.
My boy David Pretis wrote that scene where he mucks the hand and then goes on mega tilt. Yeah.
He's like,
loses mind.
And it was against the dude who
like,
couldn't ever win.
Exactly. It's like Whale Doug or whoever it is. And he's just like, wait, you didn't have kings full? And he's like, I didn't have king anything. He's like, I had a 5.
He's like, I had a pair. And there was the board.
The 2 barrel. Yeah, the 2 queens on board. Exactly.
That movie was tight.
Yeah.
It was fire.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, right?
Yeah.
She's like an Olympic athlete. So her brother, one of her brothers he was like a return man for the Eagles, but he was also, the whole family is like professional skiers, and they've all like.
For the band?
They're all medalists. What up?
The Eagles?
No.
Football team.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they made a comeback,
Yeah.
he subbed in as bass.
Yeah, one of her brothers returned kickoffs for the band of the Eagles.
You said a return man. I figured they subbed him in when they made a big comeback.
Fair. Nah, something Bloom though. I forget what his first name was. And then,
But her brother.
Yeah, and then she had another brother who was like an Olympic medalist skier as well. It's a pretty crazy story.
Yeah, he was like #1 or something, according to the movie at the time when she was like competing in the Olympics or something.
In the one where the trial where she got injured or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an insane story.
Rounders, like when you know something about a little bit about something and you see a movie about it and you're like, that wouldn't be the case. I used to just hate when they would shove all in and all their chips like splash and I'll be like, that wouldn't happen.
There's a couple instances in Molly's game where that happened too. There's a hand where it's Michael Cera and it's like some other whatever celeb or someone with tons of money who's playing in a pot against him. And Molly's like explaining the hand as it's going on. And she's like, right now, like, player X is talking this guy into folding the nuts. And it's like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I don't want to take your money. I don't.
And it's just
I'm like, that's kind of a tell for the opposite.
But all she has to do is, okay, first, the nuts, for those of you who don't know poker, the nuts is that means literally it's an unbeatable hand at the time. Which means, all she has to do is pick a different choice of words. Because you're not going to convince a player to fold the virtual nuts, which is the best possible hand at the time.
Just with mind games.
With mind games, exactly.
Yeah. Unless they just don't know.
Unless they have no idea what they're doing. But it was just a poor choice of words. Yeah. And my boy David Pretis even like spoke up about it, and he's like, yeah, Aaron Sorkin did not give the slightest fuck like what I had to say about that. Also,
he's like, we're saying the nuts as much as possible.
Also, when they go to Commerce to like scout the guy play or whatever before they bring him into the game, there's people like smoking cigarettes at the table and shit, and it's like, yo, man, this is California. That hasn't happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, this is like what though? The 9?
It was in the 2000s.
Oh,
it was definitely. 2000s? It was still in like the later 2000s. Oh, yeah, because the online poker boom happened in like 2002.
Yeah,
something like that.
The
03
was
boom.
Moneymaker.
Moneymaker's 03. Exactly.
Yeah,
that was the boom.
That was another big reason.
And then
he's like, regular douchebag.
She was probably 2010, 2011, something like that. This was probably something along those lines.
Yeah.
My boy David actually is like pretty infamous in the online world. There was a huge scandal with a site called Absolute Poker.
I used to play on Absolute Poker.
So several years ago,
I probably still have like $8 in there or something.
A programmer and a couple other players basically got like some master hand history to the site to where they could see everybody at the table's hands face up on an online site. And then,
live, not like
while
retro.
They're playing, they could see everybody's hands. So these guys obviously just went on an absolute.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
They went on a huge rampage, and my boy David was the first person to come forward and be like, "Look, I don't care how this makes me look as a player. Like, I have however many thousands of hand histories with this person specifically, and something is he's either a bot or something is going on." He's like, "There's no way, like." Something overly suspicious happened where it was like the person who knew what the hole cards were, he like called an all-in river bluff with like 9 high or 10 high or something like that.
Right.
And then my boy was just like
why would you? Why?
Yeah, like why would you, no human would do that? Especially a competent player who, you know what I'm saying? It's just not ever going to happen. And then you see it happen over and over. Basically, this person greeted themselves into, I mean, they got like permanently banned from the network, but they didn't have to give any money back. They got to keep everything.
What?
Yeah.
Because it's like probably just a loophole, like, hey, that's your fault.
This happened.
The site didn't provide the security.
This happened, yeah. And now they have protection against it.
Regulation on that. Damn.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands. But this guy, whoever it was, could have made hundreds of thousands every year for the rest of their life. Or until the site got shut down.
Is that what?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. If you just weren't as obvious.
Just don't get greedy.
With it. Yeah. So, didn't something happen with like either PokerStars or Absolute where everybody's money got frozen?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I just vaguely remember
it was called Black Friday. It was
it's like millions
April.
of dollars.
Oh yeah,
right?
they shut down PokerStars and Full Tilt and declared. First, they initially declared.
This is the government shutting it.
Yeah, it was seized by the U.S. government and declared a Ponzi scheme. First, their initial issue was it's tens of billions of dollars. The poker industry, with that much money,
they want some.
being exchanged untaxed. Yeah, they stepped in and wanted some.
Like the mob.
Then they found out that Full Tilt, the owners of Full Tilt, Howard Lederer, a couple other people, Jesus Ferguson wasn't directly involved, but he's like still heavily looked down upon because he was one of the higher ups that knew people were being scummed. Basically, like a lot of the higher ups that worked for Full Tilt at one point were spending site money. They were spending player funds like it was going out of style because they basically thought we have this infinite source of printing rake and like tournament entry fees. We're never going to run out of money.
Eventually.
But it was at a point where hypothetically, if every player that was registered on the site withdrew, they wouldn't have been able to cover it, which is obviously a massive fucking scheme.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So they got declared a Ponzi scheme. They got
banks.
shut down as well.
Same thing with banks. They wouldn't be able to pay.
Eventually, what happened was, Full Tilt got frozen. I had like 13K frozen on Full Tilt when it got frozen. And it was for like 3 or 4 years that it was stuck on there. And PokerStars eventually bought Full Tilt out and repaid like all of the player debt, and then after doing that, they just shut Full Tilt down, and PokerStars just like kind of cornered the market on its own. Basically, PokerStars is kind of fading right now, and Party Poker's taken over once again, which is another one of the old school sites. But yeah, that was Black Friday. That was. It's actually...
Who was Helmuth's? Was it Ultimate Bet or something like that?
That got shut down too.
Oh, okay.
It was actually the weekend that it got shut down. You remember when it must have been during like maybe the KOTD 2-on-2 tourney or something like that. You remember when I like drove up from Monterey to Portland because my mom was up there or something like that, and I like helped her move.
Yeah.
And then we like I had that hotel and we chilled and like prepared for one
of
like
the
in
rounds. Winter. I remember.
Yeah, it was
like
probably one of the.
I
think it was like March or some shit, something like that. But that's when that was that weekend that Black Friday happened, because I remember getting a text when I was driving up there with my brother, and someone was like, "Yo, man, what are you gonna do about this poker shit?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "It just got like seized by the government." And I was like, "Nah, I just like won attorney last night." I'm like, "Well, you better check on it." 13 hours later, when I got to fucking Portland, I like go on my laptop and it's like, this site has been seized by whatever, branch.
So what is the resolution of that? Did the government was like, we're kind of tripping.
Online gaming is currently illegal in 46 states. It's only legal to play online poker.
How is that? Because the internet is not...
Okay, you have unregulated sites that you can play on, but you have to be aware that at any time, the same thing that happened to Stars or Full Tilt could just happen on whatever Bovada or whatever the sites that people play on. Even ACR, the site that I play on. I played on Bovada a ton too. That's one of the better sites to play on. It's very soft. A lot of sports bettors play on there, but the software's trash. But when your money's on there, you're gonna get it off fine. There's never really gonna be a problem. Usually, you can even, if you have like a crypto wallet, you can withdraw within an hour. Like the money will be within your crypto account within hours, and then you can just turn it to cash. If anybody knows anything about that. or you can get checks sent to you.
So how did they resolve that though? Like, were they?
It's not. I mean,
it's not resolved. That money basically just got taken, but then it absorbed. The debt was absorbed, or
all the player funds were returned. All player. So PokerStars started.
But is that why with the government giving the money back to the sites, or with the site just absorbing that loss? With PokerStars absorbing that loss?
The site, the government basically said you can't operate here now, but you can operate overseas. So Stars is fully operative overseas. You can play in fucking Canada. You can play in Mexico. It's there's people who VPN and play constantly, like in the States. You know what I'm saying? So it's still fully operational. They never shut down like completely. They were still open for Euros.
Right. Yeah.
And then, or actually they shut down completely temporarily. Then they came back up. Then they refunded all non-Americans got refunded first. And then eventually Americans got refunded.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We were last to get our money back.
So what's a regulated site? What's
WSOP.com. PokerStars actually exists in Jersey because Jersey's a legal state. Party Poker and
Vegas,
PokerStars are not. But we don't have PokerStars. This year became legal to file for legislation in Vegas, so they can if they want to. But WSOP has the market pretty well cornered in Vegas, at least.
Well, you know how you do home games and shit? Like I was throwing a little, rinky-dink home game for a while, 10, 12 play. Can you do that
as long as you
don't, on a website where it's like you create like a private table or whatever and invite
ACR offers that. America's Card Room offers that. You
I'd be sick to do with like
there's people who are part of the team that I'm on
shit like that, and also other people
doing
open
some kind of monthly $10 buy-in or $20 buy-in.
That would be a sick ass thing to do for like the Patreon or something.
That's dope.
Like, hey, fans, get a buy-in for this.
And then the site like sets up the structure basically, like the pay structure based on how many players it gets.
Damn, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's tight.
Take that down. It'd be the sick little, cause I like playing. I love playing poker. You know what I mean? I got my own set, all that. I read a couple books. I haven't played like that in a while, but there was a couple years where I was like,
down
a few
here,
years where I was super.
They said, like, in theory, this is the number. If you're going to move anywhere in the country to play cash games full time, it's LA is the number one place in the country.
I'd be sick. We should start a little.
I'm hella down to start a home game on that. That would be dope.
Yeah, do like monthly or.
I would definitely.
Like that.
We could do one a month. That'd be easy.
Sick.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about this. Is actually Chase was like, you should ask him while we're on gaming subject. He's like, yeah, I seen him tweeting about Red Dead. He's like, ask him about video games. I'm like, the Saurus ain't playing no video games. He's playing PUBG. He's like, no, he
mostly sports games is what I fuck with, but I definitely did just cop Red Dead 2, and it's amazing. It's so fire. But I mean, I
haven't played it.
I go ham on.
I've been
Madden.
stuck on Far Cry. I can't. Far Cry 5. I can't.
I'm hella tempted to get a PS4 because the exclusive games are so.
Like what exclusive games?
Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us 2 trailer is like the craziest thing I might have ever seen for a video game. It's so dramatic. It's like a movie trailer. It was so dramatic. Damn. It's fucking incredible. I've heard Spider-Man alone is like worth getting the system for.
Spider-Man looked crazy. It looks satisfying.
And the newest God of War is supposed to be out of control. They have a few more exclusives that are supposed to be coming out next year too. And Xbox hasn't dropped an exclusive.
All you need is Far Cry 5, bro.
Really?
That's all you need.
Okay.
That online shooter again, like the environment, everything, and online play. And it's a thing where users create maps infinitely. So it's like always, if you want like play suggested maps or whatever, it's just always a new map, and it'll be like throwback like Mario Kart levels that people made, or like Call of Duty levels, Halo levels. There's a ton of levels where it's like you're miniature, so it'll be like in a kitchen and you're like hella small, like parachuting off the fridge.
Word.
And there's like WWE, like, and it's all only hands or like handheld weapons, but it's super satisfying. It's definitely like my favorite shooter. I like to play Call of Duty or Black Ops and all these. I'm like,
I heard the new Call of Duty is pretty lit.
Yeah.
They have the fucking. I
haven't played the new new Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah,
I haven't played
they have
that
like
one.
the like 100-man fucking free-for-all mode, just like
like
some
Fortnite or whatever.
Fortnite and PUBG shit.
Oh yeah,
and
Chase is saying something about
incredible. I've heard it's really dope.
I'd be down to play that. That'd be
I
sick.
prefer PUBG over Fortnite, to be honest. I don't really care too much for like building towers and shit. I want to just.
I played
post up.
Fortnite for like fucking, like I don't know, like 20 times. My first time ever playing, I got like 13th.
Yeah, I got like a one top 5 in like one of my first 3 ever, and
Yeah.
and then the wall closed in on me. I was like, "What's happening? Why am I dead?"
I never got good at building.
Me either.
And so I was just,
It's not my
and
thing.
that's like pertinent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
why PUBG's better, because you can just post up in like a bush and just fucking snipe people's face off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fire. Nah, yeah. What? I asked.
Sports games is my shit though. Like I'm like hardcore on Madden, and I'll either like fantasy draft an entire league, or I'll just like put together an absurd team
with fools
on Madden. Sometimes, like against friends and shit. Yeah, for sure. Play live and gamble. Yeah.
You're a big sports fan, and there's big news recently, right? You're a Boston fan.
Yo,
all
go
around,
Red
right?
Sox.
In the chat, why are you a fan of Boston sports?
Yeah.
Because of my dad. My dad was always he raised me right.
So speaking of that,
Sox and Celts, and then I became a Buccaneers fan. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan for football. But I grew up in the Bay, and I was always a Niner fan. I was a Joe Montana fan, die hard.
Montana.
And then he dipped. The team was in my little 9-year-old mind, they were turning their back on the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Steve Young came in, the lefty, and still, in my opinion, the most overrated quarterback in NFL history. I'm probably wrong. But it's okay. I'm often
I'll fuck
wrong.
with Steve Young.
I'm not a huge.
Wait. Was that with Jerry Rice era?
Rice was still there for Steve Young, and
but he
Steve
was there
Young
for
won.
Montana as
And
well,
Steve Young
that's
still won rings.
Yeah.
But Montana was my dude. So I spent a couple years in limbo, and then the Bucks drafted my favorite college player of all time, Warwick Dunn, who was a running back from Florida State, who was a savage. They drafted Sapp, Derek Brooks, and a local Monterey area hometown hero at quarterback, the homie Trent Dilfer. And then I was like, well, we got to ride with the local, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then, since then, the Bucks have been the squad. The Niners,
Gotcha.
I felt betrayed by the Niners, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it must be bittersweet with
the Red Sox winning was
with the
amazing.
Sox winning the champion, the whatever they call it, the pennant,
The World Series?
World Series. It must be bittersweet, right?
Pennant? Yeah, the pennant's right, though.
It's got to be bittersweet because
Giants win the
it's
pennant.
it's
Why?
Boston winning, but it's baseball.
Fair.
So it's like,
fair.
fuck, they
So-
won baseball? Like, who cares
Yeah.
about baseball?
I mean, the thing about baseball season is it's so long that I really only follow the last month or so.
last inning.
Oh, what? They're 3 outs away from winning a ring?
You know how most sports people tell you, like, oh, like football, you watch it, but if you're there, it's an amazing experience. Baseball is worse in person.
I mean, baseball
can
is just
say.
like-
It's just like, oh, okay.
It's like an
It looks-
alternative to like the library, you know? It's like, you know what I'm saying?
I went to one baseball game, a Dodger game last year, and the only reason I went is because it was called Pups at the Park, and everyone brought dogs, and I sat in the section where there was dogs, and so like being able to
You're
get
just
some
chilling.
free pets
I
made
feel
it
you.
like
feel
tolerable. You know what I mean? But other than that, I was just like,
Madflex,
baseball's the worst.
me, Madflex, and Real Deal hit a
I'd
Red
rather
Sox
watch
game.
soccer than baseball.
Well, you'd rather watch grass grow with soccer players in the way?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah. It's the worst.
When at the last Boston event, me and Real Deal and Madflex went to a Red Sox game, and it was actually pretty tight. I mean, the Sox crushed them. It makes it more entertaining when you're there watching a good, like, productive offense, because then at least things are happening, and the audience is interactive and whatnot. And then it's just me, the chef, and Madflex just roasting like everything in sight while we're there. You know what I'm saying? And they won. So since that day, which was like sometime I think in May, probably, maybe May, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with May.
May sounds good.
Anyways, we basically took responsibility for them winning that championship. So we're waiting on our invite to the parade so we can get our rings. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Flex and Trev, you know?
Yeah. Fuck baseball.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I definitely prefer football and basketball. Basketball, I love.
Yeah, basketball is
It's
my
so
shit,
like the
yeah.
pace is great, and
Yeah.
honestly though, yo, with the Golden Knights in town now in Vegas, my eyes have opened up more to hockey. It's the hockey team in Vegas.
I've never been to a hockey game, but I want to go to a
live
hockey
hockey games are
game.
absolutely insane.
That's all I've heard.
They are dope. That is the sport that the sentence, if you're there live, it's different. That is the most applicable.
Isn't there a thing where they're getting like more away from the fighting too? Like more, like it's like heavily penalized now and more serious.
You're
right?
still seeing. There's still players who just like to fight. Yo, it's hella funny. There's like clips on YouTube where it'll just be like. It'll just be like two hockey players on opposing teams just sort of like skating side by side down the ice with each other, and they're just like, so you want to go now, eh? All right, let's do it. And then they just square up, you know what I'm saying?
Put your money where your mouth
is.
is.
It's just like two like Canadian brutes just like slugfest, you know what I'm saying? It's so like casual. It's just, it's part of the sport. Yeah. But yo, I didn't realize
UFC and figure skating and baseball mixed together. You got the stick.
Very little figure skating. I mean, there's not a lot of trickery. Not much. They're not doing.
You go backwards.
Yeah, you do have to be able
You're
to skate
on
backwards.
ice skates.
You are.
What other curling? I guess you're on.
You are on ice skates.
Yeah, that's pretty pretty accurate. You ever watch swimming?
Like during the Olympics, yeah. I'll watch like a Michael Phelps run because
yeah, of course,
because I'm an American.
Goddamn, blue-blooded American.
You know what I'm saying? Actually, Michael Phelps is a poker player.
Really?
Yeah, he's a huge degen. He's like really good friends with Antonio Esfandiari.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Negreanu's going to be at the premiere tonight.
Really?
He has a small scene in the movie. He has he's in the library.
I don't remember that.
He's in the library for some scene in the movie, and he like tells the kids to shut up or something like that. But
Damn,
I think there's a chance he might have even like helped out behind the scenes somehow with the movie or something, because
that's sick.
I know Joseph Kahn is like really good friends with another former high stakes pro, this guy Justin Smith, who goes by Boosted J, who is like another he used to be an absolute monster high stakes, and now the guy just collects like art pieces that are worth 8 figures and shit. He's super baller. Really cool dude too. Really fucking cool dude. But I know him and Joseph are like good friends, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I remember one time during WSOP, it was like I still lived in LA. It was one of my last few days in Vegas for the World Series, and I had driven out there from LA. Justin was out there. He had just finished playing the main event or whatever it was. He was on his way back home. He hits me up hella randomly, and he's like, yo, are you still in Vegas? I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to be heading back to LA pretty soon. He goes, yeah, that's actually why I was hitting you up. He goes, this is the crazy, one of the most insane sentences that's ever been said to me, and it's also like probably, it's like such a needling what if moment because I couldn't do it, but he goes, yeah, so I'm on Paris Hilton's jet flying back right now, and we have an extra seat if you need to fly back to LA. And I'm like, my car's here with me. Like, so I would have essentially would have had to go back to LA just to do it, which I should have done. I'm an idiot, you know what I'm saying? Should have done, just to then find a way back to Vegas to get my car to then drive back to LA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you fucked up.
Probably still worth it. Yeah. So I'm sorry for yeah, exactly. I was just like, yeah, that seems like a real sentence that someone is just.
That is crazy.
Insane. And I still to this day I'm like, man, I wonder what the conversations on that. It was probably like him, Andy, because I know Andy Milanakis is good friends with him too. So it's probably him, Andy, and an assortment of other people that I just would have never imagined being
together
in a room with, let alone on a private plane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so insane.
It's like, you play poker? That's hot.
Yeah. That's hot.
Gonna get flagged now.
Oh, for doing that?
Video monetized.
Guaranteed. Oh, definitely. She's about to own you right now, bro.
You mentioned crypto wallet earlier, and I know you Bitcoin.
Yeah, a little bit.
You still got some bread in Bitcoin.
I have a little. I mean,
I know it's been
plummeted
crazy,
hard for sure.
Because I talked to you at one point, and it was on the upswing. It was going
and
crazy.
I sold a good chunk of what I had. I had a little bit in some altcoins through a friend who like owned one of the companies and was basically just like, "Yo, if you help me promote some of this through Twitter, it was the pink coin, and
yeah. I got pink coins
some of it
still.
as well, and
it was worth like
was a
whatever I had. I don't know if it's like 15,000 or whatever coin.
Yeah.
But it was worth like, I want to say almost a rat. It was like 800 or something at one point. I think I checked it recently, and it was like $30 or something. No, it was like 100 and 150,
all
some
coins
shit like that.
crashed super hard.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, even Bitcoin did. It peaked at like 20K, and it's right now it's probably at like 6,300 or something along those lines. I mean, there's still so much uncertainty behind it, which of course leads to its instability. Mm-hmm. It's not even something that I like completely understand.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, any further than like, I know that but like right before it started the upswing, I knew a lot of people who were a lot smarter than me and knew a lot more about it than me were very heavily into it and basically saying like for a minimal investment you could turn it into something. Fortunately, I didn't have to invest anything out of my own pocket because my boy was just like, look, if you help me promote this, I'll shoot you some of the coin and then let's see what happens with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then fortunately I had enough of it. I had 1 million of the coin, which at the time was only worth like $500, and then it upticked to 20K, and then it peaked at like 100. Yeah, I mean, I still have like a little over half of what I sold off a ton of it for sure, and I bought some Bitcoin with some of it. I sold off some just to have like money to freely do what I want and travel as comfortably and as often as I do, like I'll afford my daughter things like. Luxuries, things like that. It's be able to be my own boss for longer.
You had like there's I forget what currency, but like I like just start Ethereum. I just started like I was like, oh, I got some bread and I was gonna invest in some crypto. I was reading hella shit and like watching little YouTube videos and shit. And one
right now is not a bad buying point.
Right?
Ethereum.
Yeah, it's at a. And one video I read or seen, I think, is about investing, and they're talking about how like if you watch because like Visa, the company like MasterCard and shit are like investing in certain companies. It's like that's something to look for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at because
once banks start backing their money with crypto, like a few were doing with Ripple and a couple other smaller coins, like back when the boom was taking place. That's when people started taking notice, being like, "Oh, and Ethereum is one of them." Yeah. It's like, yo, if a bank or a credit card company is starting to back the dollar with that, then I mean, I trust their knowledge of wealth. I mean, their understanding of wealth even more than just understanding like the general understanding of money, because they're two completely different things too. And I definitely would. I would, follow that that trail for sure.
Yeah,
exactly. I would say anytime you follow a bank's trend. I mean,
when they're investing in their direct competition, essentially, it's like there could be something here.
Yeah, and right now is a good entry point. It's like you can get it for under 100 a share, essentially.
Really,
a coin or a share. It peaked at like fucking.
What's that do you know what that's at in comparison to Bitcoin right now?
Bitcoin's like 6,300. Ethereum's like 80 or something a coin, something like that. Yeah.
And Ethereum's like more of a diverse application of the shit,
the blockchain technology.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't really know too much about that.
Same. It's not even something I understand. Like.
It's some internet shit.
Well, yeah, it's not something I understand well enough to put all of my faith and all of my marbles into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends, especially in the poker community, who are heavily invested, even still, who didn't, they either didn't sell enough or, some of them didn't sell all. And there's some who are still buying at these current prices because they think that it's a good thing, like it's a good value.
Mm-hmm. It could upswing.
Yeah. My boy TJ bought... I want to say he got like 50 Ethereum. This was over a year and a half ago. He got like 50 Ethereum. I want to say he got them at $20 a piece or something like that. He got like 50 of them for $1,000 or something along those lines. They peak at like 2K a piece. And he sold all. He might have 3 or 4 left just to have.
So that was a bread.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Woo,
Yeah.
that's a flip.
And there's a lot of people who made crazy turnarounds like that.
Right.
Especially like like the boom happened. It's funny, like right before WSOP last year is kind of when the upswing started. And then it kept just going haywire. It's crazy. Because I remember at the start of the summer, I was able to get like 3 Bitcoin for like less than $1,200 a piece. And I was like, okay, cool. We'll just see how this goes. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, within 3 weeks, it's at like 3K. And then I'm like, all right, we're just going to ride it until the fucking wheels fall off.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then I sold one.
I remember at one point you're like, I'm rich.
When I got
I am rich now.
when they got even to like 8K, I was like, well, I'm going to sell one now because
Yeah.
I'm like 3xing my investment.
Already
And then I
on
still
top.
have 2 more to free roll.
Yeah.
And then they ended up peaking at 20. I didn't sell at 20. I wish I would have, of course. But, you know, another at 15 and another at like 14 or whatever.
You're part of the 1%.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, no, 30, what is it, 35,000 a year
Oh, is that?
on the world scale.
Really?
Is what you're in the 1%, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real. So, I'm not.
Really? Are you?
So, no.
Book 2 more battles, you'll be there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Book 35 more battles this year. you got that. This fan asked me, and I was gonna give a smart ass answer, but I think it's worthy of a answer.
Then I'll give a smart ass answer.
Right? They basically were like, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of like, I'm getting into battling. Ask the source if it's worthwhile. All
Wow,
the traveling
way to
and
mock this person.
oh yeah.
Wow.
I was like, well, my whole thing is I wanted to answer
Yo,
like,
hey, I'm
if you
sorry.
gotta think that, if you
Whoever-
gotta ask that,
Yeah.
then probably
Dude,
not for you.
that's actually
you know
that
what I'm
is
saying?
actually a
Like,
valid counterpoint.
anything anyone has to tell
If
you
you're
about
second
it,
guessing
then
it,
no,
yeah.
no. The answer is no. Don't get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that actually.
Yeah.
If you're questioning whether or not even that element of it is for you, then it probably isn't. You know what I'm saying?
Now you made me feel bad.
Because
so
I
let me
remember,
bring it up.
I mean, you remember it too, having to travel somewhere a significant distance, come out of pocket for everything,
Yeah.
and run the
And
risk
gamble
run the
on-
risk of coming home with 0. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
will
saying?
I be part of the? Yeah, there's one person that gets paid
And
at the end
exactly.
of it out of everyone.
And we were
yeah.
in that mindset of like, yes, this opportunity is worth it. And that's
Yeah.
how I knew that it was something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you can be sure. If it's worth it to you to do and come out of pocket for entirely, then yeah. If you
Exactly.
enjoy it with that much passion,
Yeah.
where you don't worry about like the like additional cost that comes with it.
Yeah, because
that
you're
shouldn't
not
mean
going to
anything.
get paid
Yeah.
until
You have to reach
you-
X level, exactly.
And in order to do that, to get there, you
takes
have
a
to
minute,
just
yeah.
have that passion.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Like, I'm gonna do this
Yeah.
anyway. His my bad to be super mocky. His passion. This guy passion. A passion over paper on IG. He asked, what his hardest opponent was and how and I want to know if battling is worth the time I spend preparing, travel, stage, doing the show, etc. Finally, does it work? I'd like to know some insight on, is it easy work or battler, or is it a hard living like the rest of us?
Okay, here's the thing. It also
Here's the thing. Learn to put together a sentence. That's going to help you with battling.
It
first
also
and
it
foremost.
has a lot to do too with what your time situation is. If you have the free time to be able to dedicate it, which some people are more fortunate than others to be able to do. I don't know if I'm necessarily the best person to ask because I'm not someone who like also works a 9 to 5. Like, yeah, I grind poker tournaments and shit, and it's working a job, but I don't work a 9 to 5. I set my own hours. My time that I'm able to put towards the craft, I am in 100% control of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to be in that spot. But I think a better person to answer a question just like that is someone who like balances a job as well and is, you know what I'm saying? Also, like, say a full-time parent or something like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing to where, like, I see my daughter as often as humanly possible, but she does live with her mom, which allots me more time to also put towards the
Yeah,
craft as well. You
yeah.
know, I'm in full control of the amount of free time that I can dedicate towards it. And for a long time, I've been lucky enough to be in that spot. So it's not, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask that. Hardest opponent, wow. You were one of them for sure because of the situation. But I don't think that was necessarily hard because we had time to prepare. Mm-hmm. When I think of what's hard, like the Ether, preparing for the Ether event was hard. You know what I'm saying? I wrote 3
The hardest part for me was after.
Yeah.
was after with the footage and everything. But no,
I wrote
I was
3
just
rounds
rolling
the
in
night
the dough.
before.
I got
That
paid,
was like
so.
that was like one of the hardest for me because I wrote 3 rounds the night before and was just kind of on some like I'm battling Arsenal.
Talk about that
which
a little
should
bit more,
this
too,
should
'cause
be
that's-
more. I'm battling Arsenal. I mean, it was just the like behind the scenes fuckery. It was basically our contracts. I mean, whatever. I ended up being paid entirely, so I can't be mad.
Yeah.
And shout out to Lush for the intent of getting his folks more bread for one battle than most of us, I would assume, had ever gotten to
That's
that
the
point.
most I've
Or
gotten
still,
paid thus
same,
far
still,
for a
same,
battle,
yeah,
yeah.
same here. And there was just things in the contract that just weren't met. That one after another, I was like, this is gonna turn into a shit show. And it started with like being given the contract 6 weeks ahead of time, and it says like in writing in the contract within whatever 72 hours of signing the contract, deposit will be paid, which is half. You know what I'm saying? I do that. I wait like whatever it is, a week or something to get like the first less than 10%. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, this isn't how things are supposed to go, but like you're my folks, and I know you have the best intentions, as he always does. You know what I'm saying? I just knew there was obviously things going on beyond his control that you know he wouldn't let everyone know about, for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you know, eventually I got paid, which is cool. But I basically wasn't, by the time I got to LA like 2 days early for the event, had still only gotten like 10% of the deposit. And I was just like, look, man, like, if I don't just get the deposit to this point, like, I'm just going to Charlie Clips this shit and freestyle 3 rounds is exactly what I said. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, all right, it'll happen. And I got it. Boom. Just like that, you know? And then I get to LA and like, I remember the contract also said like 4-star plus hotel. And then we get to this fucking...
So I got you a tent.
Get to the... but he wasn't in control of this. It was like the chick... it was one of the chicks, the film
like
on chicks.
Molly or
whatever her,
like that.
whatever her name
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the one who had the thing with G Money or whatever it was in those episodes. You know exactly who I'm talking about, though. So I'd like call her and I'm just like, what the fuck is this like dump that you set us up in, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, okay, well, if you want to get another like hotel, go get it, and then Philmon will reimburse. And I'm like, so I need to come out of pocket more? I was like, no, it took me till today to get my deposit, so like I'm not doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Meanwhile, we find out that other people on the card are staying at, you know what I'm saying? Fucking.
Yeah, conceited, just in the penthouse of the fucking.
People are in 5 stars and shit, and then bruh.
On Paris Hilton, that's staying at the Luxor and taking Paris Hilton's
jet.
jet.
Exactly. Yo, and I'm not mad at that for happening for them, but it's like, yo, do that across the board then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, obviously too, at the time, Khan was he was approaching like stardom level, not where he's at now, but he was like approaching that.
Yeah.
So he was a big ticket for the
He
card.
hadn't released his meme yet.
True. No,
he hadn't released his debut
that,
meme.
that hadn't gone 10x platinum.
Yeah, I've been working on something for
10x
months now.
Bruh, yo, that meme is in everything. It's in board games. It's in everything.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Does he make money off that somehow?
I would hope.
Probably
I don't know.
not.
I mean, there's a chance he doesn't, though.
Isn't that crazy, though?
Yeah.
His fucking face.
His brand itself is pretty valuable, though. He's fucking
Yeah.
crushing it. I think, didn't he just get some new hosting gig for, they're like bringing back Singled Out show, the dating show to MTV, and he's hosting it with the chick like Justina Valentine or whatever, the other chick from Wild 'N Out. Singled out with Jenny McCarthy.
Is that where they're behind the thing?
Jenny McCarthy and Chris Hardwick were the hosts, and it would be like.
That scumbag.
Yeah. I feel like they ask, it's like 50 dudes and one girl or something like that. She asks a question, and based on the answer, like whatever people answer one way are eliminated, then the remainder stay. It's something along those lines. Yeah. I don't know. It's some 90s shit. Damn, Avo, what'd you do, bruh?
What's your idea of a date, huh? Yo, I would love to see just with his hype in, like, like there. That's like part of his contract. He's like, I'll host, but
that would be amazing.
But I got my entourage with
eat them. That would be
date him.
Shout out to Khan, bro.
I want to go through that because I posted on IG.
He's killing it these days.
Khan?
Jesus, bro.
He don't want that smoke, that rematch.
Of course he doesn't. Would he? I mean, I'm sure if they were like, yo, we got,
you got a podcast. A shitty podcast that I'm on.
30 racks. We could, it'd probably be, he would probably do it for the right amount.
Yeah.
But would you do it for a tenth of what he did it for?
It depends on what he's getting.
Yeah, valid.
I don't worry. that's one thing I never thought about when discussing payment. I'm like, I don't care what that person, because it would be a usual. So and so's only getting this much. Like, I'm like, I don't care if someone's getting 10 times
their
what I'm
value
getting,
doesn't reflect mine.
I'm like, I'm telling you my value right
exactly.
now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'll do it for.
100%.
I don't care if Lux is getting $40K or Real Deal's getting $200 to battle me.
You're a dick.
I'm just chilling, but no.
Cold.
But it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? Like, I want what I want, and negotiate by those standards.
Yeah, of course. That's how it should be.
Anyone else's.
That's how it should be.
What do you think of Mills K. Shine?
We were talking about it before you got here. I'm excited that Avo gets to film it for one. That's fire that Avo gets to film.
You are
Jay
filming.
Mills
Let's go.
That's lit. And I hope he does well. It seems like I watched a bit of the interview or like the face off.
I haven't seen the face off.
It's pretty entertaining.
Really?
And he's definitely been like paying close attention to things that are going on. A lot of his like just counterpoints to sort of like clown and punk K-Shine too are just so funny. Just on some like Shine's just like, you ain't done battle with 3-minute rounds. He's like, my battle with Ness was 7 rounds. Like it's just constant one-uppage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you wouldn't be top of the card if it wasn't for me. And Shine's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, last battle, your battle was like 3rd. Event before that, your battle was like 3rd or 4th. He's like, you ain't never been the top of the card. You ain't never been the last. You ain't never been the main event. Yeah. And Shine's just like, the only time that's happened is like because I've let it happen. He's like, nah, that ain't
because.
yeah. Oh, bro.
That's hilarious.
It's entertaining. I just hope he does well in the battle.
I seen the little picture with like him and Geechee running bars.
Yeah. I think that.
When is that? Is that this weekend? Saturday?
Shine,
okay. That's
Shine's kind of like in his bag. These
Shine.
his last couple of performances. I'm not even like a huge fan of his, but I can't deny how well he's done. Like the Av battle was hella crazy. Who did he battle just before that too?
Hey, man.
He battled some. I know he battled Danny, but that was a while ago. Ines. He battled Ines.
Damn, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
One of my it's old now. It's like a couple years old, I think, at this point. But I always loved his performance versus JC, man. That shit was crazy to me.
His energy and performance alone is insane.
Yeah.
It's really fucking good.
Yeah. Him and Danny was an intense because they had
There's like the genuine dislike.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And even what Danny said afterwards, he's like, afterwards, we shook hands and said, I still don't fuck with you. That is hilarious. Good battle. I still don't fuck with you.
That is hilarious. Yo, what do you think is the next thing?
That's fire.
Because I was thinking about this, like, I feel like there could be something done with battle rap that's still just, the event and everything, but like with just one added element. Like I know we had Total Slaughter and that kind of flop, but like something to where we could pitch it to Netflix.
next evolutionary
You know what I mean?
step.
Like there's something.
There
You know
has
what
to
I
be,
mean?
yeah.
Look at like how well stand-up's doing now on Netflix, and just in general, stand-up is like at an all-time high.
Yeah.
But there's something that can be done, I think. I don't know what it is, but to where it could add another interesting, unique element. One of the fans said something about there's like a increase of like on beat written battles going on like in the UK or
That's
some
kind of
shit.
tight.
Yeah, I know there's been a few like who did the one? Was it like Enes and Arsenal or something like that? Did that one
They
back
did an
in a
on-beat
few
battle?
years ago?
Really?
Arsenal and somebody did one a few years back, but
I know the UK does those grime clash battles as well, where where those are over beats.
What do you think of that?
And
Like,
they're
I don't know
entertaining to
how-
watch. I mean,
Well, have you? They just said maybe they're talking about the grime clash, but they
That's
made it sound
probably
like
what it
there's
is.
like actual battles.
It
going
seems
on
like kind of a
beat.
cool concept. It's going to be harder for some people to do. Definitely, it's. I think it's good from a preparation standpoint because people are going to have to prepare a lot more thoroughly because over beat you have to plan your breathing and
even crowd
and
reaction. You can't be
every
like
step of it. Well, in the grime
big
clashes,
pop.
basically the way from what I've seen in the Don't Flop grime clashes, the way they win is
by saying man's
No.
them too.
man's tempting. No, but like whenever they run their shit and the crowd goes too crazy, so they have to run the beat back. It's basically whoever can get
The most
run
runbacks?
backs. Yeah, that's basically
Damn.
Dialect crushes those things. That's like what he's like born to do.
Right.
He's such a just like natural
beat him that
rapper.
one time.
Yo, that was actually crazy. The
Yeah.
where Bamalam beat him.
Yeah.
Bamalam killed that. Shout out to Bamalam. He's crushing it on the Unilad shit.
What should I say to Soul?
Wow. Good question.
No, I'm just but that event's looking crazy though. That card.
Yeah.
Who else is on there?
Mike P versus
yeah.
Koj. That's gonna be entertaining. Koj is a flat earther.
Los, really?
Yeah, you and him will have a good time.
Yeah, he is like legit flat earth.
Like,
He
big time.
Made a video about it.
Oh, like no, I want to say like his dad is like one of the like forefathers of the theory or something along those lines. Like his dad's a professor who or some I don't know. It's definitely it's a generational thing. Like yeah. Apparently you can teach stupid.
Apparently, stupid is hereditary.
You know what I'm saying?
Dialects battling Loso.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Chris Lee's Mike.
Chris Lee's and Caustic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Big Cannon and Rivers.
Ooh, I haven't.
I don't know who Rivers.
Yo,
I
he's like
haven't
one of their
seen.
new, like, up and coming dudes who apparently is supposed to be really good. I know he had a battle that the UK was going ape shit over in anger. He battled Yunnan, who is whatever a polarizing figure over there, and
their disaster.
yeah, kind of. And he did one of those like premier battles. It was Rivers versus Yunnan, and I guess the judges gave it to Yunnan, but apparently people threw a fit about that, and they think that Rivers is like whatever the second coming.
Wait, the UK got a judged battle decision wrong?
Who'd have guessed?
Yeah, I thought that was their thing.
Yeah.
We call it soccer. You are terrible at judging battles. It's kind of the trade. It's kind of the
I
trade-off.
don't know, and I mean I can.
And
kind
then is
I can kind of see why Harry thought that Yunnan won too.
And then it's a surprise battle with O'Shea versus
That'll
somebody.
be fire no matter what.
Yeah.
It's O'Shea against who? I don't care who it is. It's gonna be entertaining.
Right.
O'Shea is so fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
the O'Shea is so good, man.
He's just like
Your guys' battle is hilarious.
it's so fun. Like,
Yeah.
just battling him in general is just like it's gonna be a good time. Like I don't have to be like fuck. Need to remember every single step. Like it's just like I'm just gonna stand here and laugh and have fun, and then I'm gonna go through my shit and have fun. And there's no feel of like nerves or anything like that. It's not like man, I need this bar to hit this way in this spot. It's like dude, it's fucking O'Shea, man. I want to hear the hilarious things he has to say. Then I want to say some funny shit too. And then afterwards, we're just going to go hit the bar. He's definitely going to black out by the end of that. You know what I'm saying? Pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he did.
I don't doubt it.
Shout out to Rap is Full Battle League in Dublin, Ireland. That's where we battled. It was dope. It was super dope.
That's tight.
Shout out to Rap is Full.
I think I'm going to Dublin on this trip for a show. And it might be
lit.
It might be with them.
Yo.
I know I think it's at a battle event, but
That's
yeah.
tight if it
Yeah,
is
I'm
with
going
it.
to
Oh, they're
Dublin,
all
yeah.
hella chill too.
Yeah.
The night I got into Dublin, like one of the main, like probably I would say maybe their best battler. His name's Podge Dwyer. He was like, yo man, like let's go to the Guinness factory and fucking like my first night in the city. He's like, let's link up and go to the Guinness factory. We just went down there, like got to pour my own fresh Guinness. It was the best tasting beer I've ever had in my entire life.
That's
Then they
sick.
have like a rooftop bar overlooking the entire city, like 360 degrees. It was fucking ill.
I know they got the Jameson joint out there. I don't know if it's in
Oh,
Dublin,
Jameson
but
Factory.
I know it's in.
Yeah, it's in Ireland. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if it's in Dublin either. You should definitely.
You
if
can get
you're
like
in,
them personalized bottles, like the homie Gold. Yeah,
Word,
you know,
yeah,
Gold,
yeah.
Gold's got one. It says Goldini Bagwell on it and shit. Yeah, I think Spark got it for him because Spark went out there.
Spark's been traveling a ton.
Spark lives in Hawaii, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. That's fire. Yo, he's so
This fool
nomadic.
well, he didn't
was
even
in
know
Japan
nobody
recently,
out
right?
there. He just dipped out there. He's like, I'm just gonna move out to the volcano, live on the outside of a volcano. You're tripping. He's like, yeah, just drive Lyft and
He's so fire.
like farm avocados or something.
Yo, what a boss.
Yeah.
Spark, that's one of the most low-key, hilarious humans of all time.
Yeah,
Like
just hella
super
dry
subtle.
humor. Yeah.
Super dry and subtle.
I want to get to some of these questions because
Do it.
I liked a couple of them that were good. Oh, someone asked about the next mainstream battle crossover. Yeah, but what do you think?
Like,
You know,
the next
Joe Budden versus Sai the
Wi-Fi
Prince.
the Prince.
Yeah. No one wants to see that.
I don't care
battle,
about
by
that.
the
I don't
way,
care to
yeah.
see Joe Budden battle again, personally.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
I enjoy
I don't care to
Budden's,
see any of them, honestly.
I enjoy
like-
Budden's podcast. There's not, I can't think of a single artist that I would enjoy because I don't think any of them would take it seriously enough for it to like move me to a point of where I'd be like, man, that's what we've been waiting
People
for
might
from
hate
these
on
guys.
this, but
You know
like
what
the
I'm
only
saying?
two I could really see being good at it off top is M. I think could
It's
kill,
possible.
and Drake.
Yeah.
I think, but you know, I know people are like,
Drake-
what he's saying.
Drake
You're
was
soft,
literally
you're
Drake
gay."
was this close to happening, which
Right.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Literally that
Yeah, that
close.
was Blackout 4?
Five?
5?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Blackout 5 because
yeah.
I battled J Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the last minute
Actually,
step in.
that never happened. Yeah.
Nice. What do you mean?
Well, all of J Pro's battles have been removed from offline because of his job or whatever it is.
What?
Yeah. There's a few people who have done that though. I'm not.
Oh
even-
yeah, didn't like Amy Miller or whatever
I'm not
get some
mad at it.
battles removed
Yeah,
or
against
something?
Young Gaddis.
Yep, she did.
Yeah, no,
Wow, I
I
remember
tried to
that
put
too.
it up on fucking Ruiner Day and it got flagged.
What? Damn. Yeah, I had some bars against J Pro in that. I replaced Rich Dollars on like 1 day's notice.
That's right.
And Jason Gold too.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
dope, man. He was hella dope, and we both like ended up freestyling a bunch too. That shit was fun.
Do you have any battlers on your radar?
I'm battling Remy D 1 month from today at Battle of the Zay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about
That'll
that.
be pretty fire.
I was on the Dirtbag Dan show and they announced that.
That'll be pretty fire.
That's super fire.
Yeah, he's so dope, man.
So you'll probably start riding in like 29 days.
Actually, no, I actually started a little ahead of time.
Nice.
Because there's this like other opportunity that might happen in the middle of the month that is like pretty close to 100%. That's just I don't know. I'm sure King of the Dot will probably prefer announcing it. Organic will prefer announcing it. You know what I'm saying? But some opportunity
Decade announcement?
No, not and there's also Decade though, which is shortly after that. So if I do a Decade battle, I want to have as much out of the way for Remy because they're like 10 days apart.
Yeah.
So I want to have as much out of the way for Remy as possible.
Yeah.
So that I have that full 10 days to write for Decade.
Tripping,
No,
man.
I mean, for Decade though, it's definitely going to depend. Like, I don't want to like force a matchup just for the. I mean, I want to be on the card, absolutely. I think it makes all the sense in the world to be on it.
Has there been a location announced for it?
I know it's Toronto.
Toronto?
No, not yet. It hasn't been announced, but
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Word. Well, I thought.
yeah,
I,
you can all assume.
I was under the impression that it was
Yeah.
always going to be up there. I mean, it makes the most sense. It's their
Decade.
it's
yeah,
their decade.
yeah.
I just I don't want. I think if I do a battle there, it should have some. It should at least make sense to a degree. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Poe Rich.
but I say.
It's history.
But I said, and Solomon didn't want to do it up there either. But I said that since that's probably me and Solomon is because that's the one most people want to see up
Right,
there.
right.
But I feel like for me, that's probably the
Don't do that in Toronto.
No, yeah, that's like the biggest battle I think I probably have left, at least right now, on
Right.
any list or whatever there might be.
Yeah.
And I want more control of it, like of the setting than.
I feel like that would be the most open-ended in like Cali. And as much as that's like not neutral, I just feel like
the first one
there
wasn't
isn't gonna
neutral. Why
be-
should the rematch be?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
The first one was far from neutral. Not only was it in NY, I was ambushed after getting jerked in a tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, Aaron. No.
yeah, you lost to 2 superior rappers in that night.
That's crazy.
You got jerked against.
No, I didn't battle Quest Makoti that night.
Yeah, that was when that came out though. I remember I'm like, damn, this is a lot closer than
Then
should
it felt,
be.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember
So
hearing
that's
his because I remember when he started his first round, I was just like, oh, this sucks. Like, this is clearly this is why he didn't. This is why he bowed out of Spin the Mic for whatever his reasons were. You know what I'm saying? Because first he was supposed to be on Spin the Mic.
Well, I think he's like said, I don't know, on social or interviews, like, that ain't what it was. Like, I wasn't gonna battle, and then I was like, oh well, fuck it, he is here. Like, yeah, let's do it.
Or were you?
we use logic.
Or were you advertised as part of the Spin the Mic lineup, and then
Was he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Damn, I didn't
And then
remember that.
day of, we find out that he's been replaced and isn't doing it.
And is there?
And told me that the reason was, and I'm not lying about this, and it's all good. Aaron's my dude. I'm not.
Hey,
it's,
shout out
like-
Solid. He actually
yeah.
sent me this book.
Word?
Fucking
Dope.
David and Goliath.
Yo,
by
Aaron's the
Malcolm
fucking
Gladwell.
man, straight
Yeah.
up. But this, I mean, whatever. This is a long ass time ago, so it doesn't matter. But he did straight up say, he's like, yeah, I pulled out from doing this event because Jump Off did did a different type of event. Like maybe it was in the UK. He's like, and it was like some like borderline racist shit that I didn't agree with. Is what he said. He was like, it was like they had something like. They had like a chicken eating contest or something along those. It was like a fried chicken eating contest or something, and it was at a UK event, I believe. And Iron was like, "Yo, I'm not trying to fuck with that." You know what I'm saying? So that was the reason that I was told that he like withdrew from
He's like, so
the
let's
Spin the Mic
battle
card.
on the same.
So when I was told
format
that, I'm just
outside.
like, "Oh, cool." So you're just here as a spectator. Just to watch the event though, that's cool that you showed up to like support the homies. You know what I'm saying? And then
He's like, I'm
and
still
then-
from winning
Yeah.
the chicken eating contest.
How long? did
So,
it-
anyways, after I convinced him not to put that footage out from me winning the chicken eating contest, I wrote these 3 rounds for you.
When did you agree to
No.
battle him?
After I lost to Ill, and then not even immediately after I lost to Ill though, because then there was like the fight that broke out after the Quest
With
Makoti
Maniac
battle
Squad
with
and
Maniac
shit?
Squad, because the Quest Makoti shit happened because someone talked about proof, and Quest is that's probably maybe the biggest savage thing I think I've seen at an event, because that's 100% solo. Giving 0 fucks. He was ready, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Quest, man. He did
I was just
not
chilling with him for a
care.
couple tour dates with Slumville.
Oh,
we
tight.
linked in Detroit, and then he did a couple dates after that,
Dope.
like Cleveland or Columbus.
Quest is the man, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Marv. Shout out to both of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Legends, straight up. But yeah, so then the venue is like being shut down. We're being kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm walking outside, Iron like comes up to me and is just like, "Yo, like, I don't know."
Billy Boondocks
He was
you.
just-
I didn't even connect the dots. I didn't connect the dots.
Yeah, Iron's actually Billy Pistols in the movie Body. So he came up and was just like, "Yo," he's like, "I don't know if you're with it or not, but like, Jump Off asked me, he was like, Harry and them asked me if me and you would do like a street battle for them, like since they have us both out here, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, word, like let's like go get a blunt wrap and smoke one and then do this or whatever. So we just straight up like walked to the bodega, got a wrap, like spun one up, chiefed it on the way back to like the front of the venue, and then we watched you and Quest and you and what's his face battle, and then we battled. Just
That's
like that.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a trip.
That is crazy.
And then I heard his round, and I was like, I heard his first round. I'm like, so this is why you bowed out of the freestyle contest, hey?
Solomon's been on a tear since he's been
crushing,
back, man.
He's incredible.
Yeah,
he's
great.
incredible.
He's in great
Honestly,
form.
was not heavily impressed. I mean, the energy was weird to begin with, and I know it like immediately followed Mook and Verb, but his material to me against Big K was probably his weakest of his like return battles. And the energy felt like a little weird, but that's just probably a product more of the building. But I like, I mean, of course, because of, I guess, whatever, like the stumbles that K had, people hella undersold what he actually did have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I liked.
I enjoyed K's material a lot.
Yeah, I liked
sure.
K's material in that. From what I remember, I watched the live stream, and from what I remember, I liked his material, but Solomon was just more consistent or something like that.
For sure.
But, yeah, he's been on a tear.
It's incredible, bro.
Yeah.
The shit. I mean, even like I definitely feel like you like clearly beat him, but his material against, but his material against you,
say that,
his material. It's hella funny.
I think it's pretty.
When I was streaming on Twitch
undeniable.
last night, someone in the chat's like, "Who do you think's gonna win, Illmac or Soul?" And I was like, "Come on, man! Like, I was like, you don't ask me questions like that. Like, I'm always gonna give the same answer." When a question is presented to me this way, I was like, the answer is always Illmac, and then then the delay catches up, so he sees me answer it on the stream, and 5 minutes later in the chat, he's like, "What about if Illmac battled Hollow?" I'm like, "What would change to me, bro?" That's what I was just like, no. I was like, don't get me wrong, Hollow can still be like the GOAT, absolutely, but to me, like the answer doesn't change. I was like, it doesn't matter who you say. Yeah.
And yeah, but obviously, if the battle were to happen, I wouldn't take it unless I knew I was gonna win. You know what I mean?
You'd have to like brainstorm forever and be like, "What can I do? What?"
Yeah, people forget I haven't lost since Arsenal. You know what I mean? So, so that's 6 years undefeated. So,
Facts.
what more do you want?
The Rebel never lost.
Yeah, no, Solomon's been on a tear though. Fucking when I was at what event? When he battled Daylight, that was the same event I battled Pat at.
Yep.
We were hella chopping it up like prior and shit, and just like on some deep societal, philosophical shit. And this is actually when he told me about this book, David and Goliath or whatever, and we exchanged numbers and we'd chop it up, and then he ended up sending it to me. Yeah, Daylight, at World Dom
it was World Dom
6 or 5, I forget, whichever one me and Pat battled at. So I think Soul Bender.
Me and Definition.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, smart dude, fucking legend. Fool's been
It's
killing
crazy because that was just for his return.
Him
battle.
and Nitty was
Then
crazy.
He battled like I want to say his second battle was B Magic, if I'm not mistaken. No, it wasn't.
No, it was Diz, I think.
Diz was Iron's second battle. Like, oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Like
right?
Because I just remember.
Or was it?
The growth between.
I think it was.
Because just like the jump just from the Daylight battle to his second battle, it was insane. Because he was good in the Daylight battle. He was really good, you know what I'm saying? But there was like.
Maybe it was.
There was like a clear evolution. Like to his second battle, he just like got definitively better from one really good performance to the next. That shit is scary, bro.
Yeah, he went from what fucking Daylight, and this ain't in order because I might fuck it up, but Daylight, Diz, Magic, Clips.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Maybe Magic was second. I think you might be right.
It's possible.
Either way, those were the first three: Daylight, Diz, Magic, Clips,
Arsenal,
Ars, me.
Chilla.
Nitty.
Chilla.
Chilla. Where'd he battle Chilla at?
In Boston this year. It was crazy. Same event that I battled Ines.
Oh yeah.
That's another insane performance.
Yeah.
Holy shit. His performance against Nitty, though, that was where I was like, oh, dude, this guy.
He went off.
He might be, like, you know.
He's a beast, man.
Yo.
Yeah, you seen him. I want to see.
Because I thought that was going to be
rematch for you
a
guys would be
problem matchup
monumental.
for him. I thought that
Yeah.
was going to be a problem for him
Right.
because there's a lot of builds and arcs in his writing, and Nitty builds and arcs, but he's punching while he's doing it.
While
you know
he's
what I'm
building, it's
Bro.
punching. Yeah.
Nitty, to me, like, he's the best writer in the URL. It's not like, I don't even think
Be
it's
hard
close,
pressed
really.
to
Him and Iron,
argue.
basically, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's pretty much who it is. Nitty's shit is so good and so technically sound. His second round against DNA is, like, maybe my favorite battle round. It's so fucking good.
I'm having trouble remembering where that were. Like, remember
It was
that
in LA.
one. Oh, the smaller room. Was that at Traffic?
Traffic 3.
Yeah, was that where B-Dot battled Emerson? Yeah, I vaguely remember that
He
now.
talked
yeah.
about, like, how B Magic beat DNA, and he says something. He's like, damn. He's like, Jerry hella killed Eric, right?
Wow.
What? Bruh. Yo. Jerry, like, I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What are some of these other ones? Oh, Frack asked, how much is the shit worth in Middle Earth?
I don't know, young Frodo. What are you bidding?
Still got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Frack also asked.
Young Elijah Fracknoy.
Frack asked, what's your ideal retirement from battle rap? Would it be to start a league or maybe a channel talking about it? I'm assuming he's going on the prerequisite that you want to be involved with it.
Yeah, I
Right,
think
moving
that,
forward.
and that's probably that. I think that some sort of transition like that probably makes sense because I feel like regardless of when I get over actually battling myself, I'll probably still want to at least be involved and like as actively as I can.
Yeah.
Whether it's via discussion or blogs or whatever it is, I definitely wouldn't start a league. I don't want that type of responsibility. There would be a chance, like, whatever, if the right situation presented itself, I would consider investing in a league or something. Like, if like I won the fucking World Series of Poker or something like that, like, I would invest. I would help you. Is what I would do. I would invest in RYD. I would invest in RYD and help it expand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever ideas you would have for expansion that's what I would want to help with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would want to work with people that I feel are on the same page, of course. And I definitely don't want. I don't ever want the responsibility of controlling events and or battlers and or being responsible for people being at X place at this time other than like myself and the people that I'm going there with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be
Have to
responsible
corral
for
a bunch of
30
cats.
other people. It's I
Herding
already
cats.
know. I've told Ganik so many times, like, I'm aware it's probably the most thankless job in the entire world. Like, and the amount of responsibility that they have for these things that they really don't get the thanks they deserve for. You know what I'm saying?
Then the cameraman gets all the glory.
I know, yeah. Goddamn camera guy. I know that I couldn't handle the headaches that that league owners have to put up with.
Fuck that. Yeah, I think there's room for just some other, like, not a league, but some interesting other little twist on it. Have you ever do you watch, or have you heard of Kill Tony?
No.
Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian?
I know Tony Hinchcliffe.
He's got a podcast, live podcast he does at the Comedy Store, where, and I don't know how this would tie into battle rap, but just to it's a creative format.
Yeah.
But it's basically, so he's a stand-up, and he'll have guest stand-up comedians like on this panel, and they'll have a table, and it's live at the Comedy Room, at the Comedy Store, and there'll be a live audience, and people sign up, and they come up and do a minute's worth of material. They got like the panel right there on stage, basically, and then he'll give feedback and ask questions.
That's
sometimes they'll roast
roast them,
It kind of depends depends on the energy.
Of course.
You know, there's been people who are bomb, but they're hella nice, and he'll just ask about them, how they got into comedy, how long, and it's all kind of live or whatever.
That's
but
dope.
with the audience, I don't know how you could relate that to
Something
battle rap, but it's
interactive.
something, it's something that was interesting
Yeah.
as far as a different sort of format. I feel like there's room for little offshoots like that.
And you
with
kind of
battle
want to
rap.
create that connection from audience to performer as well. You
Mm-hmm.
want there to be like more relatable elements. That's what.
And he's like took it on the road too.
Yeah, that's
and
dope as
like
fuck.
took some of his some of the people who put better material together. He'd have on as a regular to come out and do, you know, like a 5-minute set or whatever, in between sort of all these rookies essentially.
yeah.
And he took
Just
it
sorta,
out. He
like,
took a bunch of them,
liven
like some of the
things up.
best of them, out to on the road in like a big van and shit.
That's
And it's
tight.
like, you know, that's them getting put on for the most part.
Yeah, getting to like
it's hella interesting.
start to live their actual dream. Basically.
It's actually hilarious. I think you'd like it. You should watch it.
For sure, I will.
You can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, Kill Tony. It's
dope.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'll peep it for sure.
Yeah.
I would prefer doing something along those lines as opposed to being in charge of where people have to be at particular times. Fuck all that.
Exactly. I could
can't.
definitely see you. Speaking of, I asked this with Hollow, but I know for a fact, just back in the day, I remember us talking about comedy. Yeah, was that something that you?
No, I don't. It's so goddamn hard. I would consider trying it. Maybe.
I think you'd be great at it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like figuring out how to present. Whether it's.
I'd
gonna
love
be,
to see you on Kill Tony. Go up
whether
and
it's
drop a
gonna be
minute.
whether it's gonna be like stories or what, you know. That's
Yeah.
what you like. You really have to figure out what kind of comedian, you know.
Was it Mitzi? Because I will listen to all the comedians' podcasts like Rogan and Theo Vaughn and Duncan Trussell and Joey Diaz and
Yeah.
shit. And one thing I've heard him say a lot, like Mitzi, the owner or whatever, the comedy store. I don't know if that's who she. Anyways, they talk about her like a guru, essentially, of comedy,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yeah, be yourself, 100%."
You have
Because
to
if
be.
you're not, you might fool someone for one set, but you can't
Not
keep that
consistently,
up. You know?
of course
like
not.
you need to like put you into the comedy and
Yeah.
really run that. You
And
know
I need
what I mean?
and figure out like your style of joke,
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
It's
because there's
some-
some comics you see, their style is so like definitive and
like a
Jesselnick,
is,
exactly.
Like, easy
it's
to
just
think of.
curveball after
Yeah.
curveball, but
Yeah,
I mean they're great.
misdirection.
A lot of dark, a lot of like very dark material too,
Yeah.
but a ton of curveballs, and
Yeah.
that's he sets you up one way, and then
So
just
where you all
boom.
know,
Yeah,
like
you know
after a couple.
something's
If you've
coming.
never seen him, after a few minutes, you're like, all right, that's the obvious thing. Where is
it gonna go? Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of them you're like, oh my god, he actually did that. It's bro.
Yeah.
Like his second album, he like he's just his regular self the entire time, and he's like, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably getting bored with me by now, wondering, Anthony, where are your showstoppers? And he's like, here they are. I'm gonna tell you a series of jokes that are gonna get progressively more offensive, and they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But every single one of them, curveball too, bro.
He's all, if you
he's
like that
amazing.
rape joke,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Lucky
love
day.
this one.
Lucky day. You're gonna love it. If you like that AIDS joke, he does that in one of
Yeah.
them. He's like,
Yeah.
if you like that AIDS joke, lucky day, you are gonna love this next AIDS joke. And then he tells 2 AIDS jokes in a row. He goes, you guys can probably notice a theme a theme developing here. These are all great jokes. So good, bro.
That's great.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think you know, put together a minute. But that's another thing, right? You
I
play
don't
poker,
want-
you battle, you got all these other things, and that's something that you don't want to half-ass.
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely
it's something I'm
not.
super interested in, but it's like, let me get like decent at some point at a podcast, at hosting a podcast, and at some point I'll get there. And
eventually.
then, you know, it's like music and battles and the cartoon, it's like I'm super interested, but I don't want to half-ass it or do it then.
You can't.
Injustice of not putting the work in.
You
know?
have, especially something as hard as comedy.
Right, it's a whole
because
different timing.
it
It's like the
really
difference
is.
of a battle rap and like, you know, when like a Budden or those artists come in, it's a whole different timing that's hard to grasp until you're in it. And that's how I kind of anticipate stand-up being, you know?
Did you see Shuffle T versus Jazz the Rapper?
No.
It's kind of like that.
No.
Like it's a set. The setting was awkward for what they were trying to do.
Right,
So they,
right.
at first, you could sort of see them. They're trying to like re-find their footing.
Right.
Especially Shuffle. You could tell like his energy is off, and he's the most uncomfortable like I've seen him in a battle. And it's like the audience definitely was different than he expected, and not as reactive for his material compared to Jazz as he expected for sure. And it was like noticeable. And I
Yeah.
feel like comedy, it's a similar thing. Like it's a
It's like,
completely
oh,
different
this is a
audience
whole-
that
yeah.
you're not in your element when you get up there. You have to be good at feeling out the audience to begin with, sort of gauging what kind of stuff they are receptive to and what kind of stuff they're straying away from.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a minute, you have to have enough material to sort of cut and paste, which we would be good at, like in that,
Right.
for sure.
Well, but yeah.
I mean, you have to have enough material to where you know some of it might not fly, so it has to be replaced with like a minute set. You should probably have 5 to 7 ready, and then start with like what you think is good, and then you have to be able to feel out and gauge it from there. It's so fucking hard, and you're
Yeah.
expected to make them laugh. That's the
Right.
hardest part, you know?
Right. Yeah, they're like, okay,
With a battle,
what do you got?
A battle, the expectation is just you execute your material. Other than like reactions, anything aside from that, laughs, it's all a bonus. Like we hope for that, we write with the intention of that, but like the audience is coming there just to see us like execute, and they want to be entertained, but it's like there's not the expectation level like there is going to see a comedian. Like, oh, I'm about to laugh so hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're just like,
yeah,
I like
yeah.
rap. I'm gonna go see some dope rappers. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I only been to the Comedy Store once, but it was tight because there's like a headliner or something, or 2 or whatever, maybe 3 announced ahead of time, and then it's like they just run through 15, and progressively longer sets, 20 minutes, but there'll be like 20 comics on one night, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like seeing a bunch of people you didn't expect, so there's no expectation, and seeing the
That's
development,
dope.
because there'll be, there's difference, right? You can go up and just tell a joke, and it's kind of a generic way of approaching comedy, right? Where some of my favorite comics I've seen, I'm always blank. I'm terrible with names, but bro's like literally just up there establishing his personality and his way of telling a story. And it's like, okay, you're drawing me in just by your demeanor.
Yeah.
And he's talking about like buying a banana and hating it being brewed and feeling like he's overcharged for the banana. And there's no like hella punchlines, but just him telling this story and establishing this is who he is, his look and everything. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite
And
of
it's
the
not
night,
a punchline
you know what I mean?
comment. That's what I mean by you
Yeah.
have to figure out your style of
Right.
joke, like whether or not you're gonna. You can like. I mean, a lot of it is like first person narrative and whatnot, but then it's how do you find the joke in the story and then present it as the funny part of the story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's so many different ways you can do it. You have to like figure out the most authentic to self way, basically. Whatever feels the most natural.
Yeah.
Because then it's gonna come off that way.
What would you do? You probably haven't put much thought into if you think about it, what rough format would be your comfort zone off top?
I want to do one of like the roast battles, comedy battles.
See
for
that?
sure.
Yeah, that.
I would
I think that's like
destroy those.
one step closer to our sort of lane.
I
You
would
know what I mean?
destroy
Because
those.
it's just set up,
MODOK, like,
punch, set up, punch.
Whatever those things that MODOK like sets up. I think it's like almost every month that he does that. What's at the Laugh Factory or something?
I think it is the
Thanks,
Comedy
Psychosis.
Store, right?
It's at the Comedy Store, yeah. And he gets like battlers up against comedians and
Just roast
and
them.
roast battle. I will obliterate.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, rebuttal game.
That's
too, is
your
like
that's your forte, and I don't have to rhyme it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I don't even have to rhyme. I
Yeah.
can just say whatever comes to my mind.
Yeah.
All right, let's
You've
do
had
that.
the infamous back and forth like online on Twitter and how quick like you killing Quest.
Yeah,
I
that
remember.
one on
you
Angry
and
Fan.
Bollock.
The
Tons
Quest
of
one is
fans.
infamous. My favorite part about the Quest one is like every time I like come back with something instantly, you like faintly in the background hear Caps and he's like, God damn. It's so tight.
Yeah.
It is
Oh, and
so
on the angry
good.
fish, yeah.
Oh, and then like Marv was messaging me while that's going on. He's like, "For the love of God, Pete."
Let him look. Yeah, you can't.
He's like, "I hate you so much. For the love of God, just stop."
So good.
Oh, I had a blast.
yeah,
that
I
would
was listening to
definitely
that, and I was
be
just
like,
oh my.
that would be the most comfortable for sure.
Yeah,
like,
it's
no
like
question.
it's like one step towards comedy, but in the middle ground.
It's
of
battle.
like
It's
what
like
where our
it's
comfort
absolutely
zone
the middle
is.
ground.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, like the comedians are pretty territorial when it comes to the battle rappers being involved. Because I know Sharon did a couple of them, and I know like
I've seen one with Sharon.
Dan has done a couple of them.
Psychos did one.
Oh, Psychosis did one.
Yeah,
I did,
recently.
oh, really? I didn't see it.
He's double
I know-
timing his jokes.
They're like, "Are you the Micro Machines guy, or are you saying punchlines?"
Oh my god. Crazy reference.
Yo, I know Caustic's done a few. I think he makes perfect sense for it.
Yeah.
I feel like Tony would kill.
Oh yeah.
Tony would be like undefeated roast
He's
champion.
like the Joey Diaz of battle rap.
He's so
you know what I
hilarious.
mean?
Yeah,
like
straight
his
up.
that like energy of
He's
just I don't
so
give a
hilarious.
fuck.
Tony's the
and
most like
authenticity.
naturally funny battler for sure.
Yeah.
Him and O'Shea. Are
Yeah,
like
I
the
think-
most naturally funny human
I
beings.
think Shuffle and Malo would be amazing.
Absolutely,
too.
I agree.
You seen
But,
Raptor?
but
and
I also think that takes like a level. Like I feel like Shuffle for a roast battle would probably need the right crowd. You know what I'm saying? He would need. It couldn't just be like an out.
like people who understood British.
Or just people who read. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think they do great.
Him versus
You
Raptor
seen
is
him
incredible.
So good.
It's so
when he's
funny.
purposely mispronouncing all the
Bro.
words, he's like, he's all shoemaker.
Spoon saver.
Screwn saver.
Spoon saver.
And he's like correct me. He's like,
Yo, the shit about like
So
the
good.
teachers sending him home from school, like because he bit someone in the face or something. I forget what it. Or he's because he stabbed him. Oh yeah, because he stabbed another student.
a
or
whole
whatever.
round of being on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good.
And then ending it essentially with like, all right, back to you.
Did you ever see? Did you ever see him versus Heretic?
Yeah, we watched that and watched too.
Yeah, where he does the whole round where
He
he,
doesn't.
he like runs into a fan, and the fan it's like it's a hypothetical conversation between him and the fan, and he's like, "Do you know when the new Heretic battle is?" And Shuffle's like, "Heretic, like what is that?" And he's explaining the fan describing Heretic back to him, and he's just like, "Oh, like Heretic, yeah, that's like that battle's like actually like a couple of seconds from happening. I might actually repeat this entire conversation verbatim when I eventually battle him or something." It's so
Yeah, then
fucking
he's like,
good,
Are you
bro.
aware all this is rhyming?
Yeah, oh yeah. What he said, "Are you aware all this is rhyming, mate?" It's so good, bro. He is such a smart writer, man.
Yeah.
He really is. But for a roast, like I think it would probably take the right crowd. He could obviously roast someone like easily, for sure. It would be a more favorable setting for him in the UK though, I think, than like one of the LA Comedy Club roasts or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're not. I mean, a lot of especially those like the comedy roast battles, like when we hear a lot of the jokes, we're like, yeah, but where's the like extra layer to it? You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It's
right,
like
right.
we're kind of like, oh, that's kind of simple.
It's like
Okay.
it's pre-thesaurus battle
Yeah.
rap before the action.
Exactly.
It's like, oh,
It's
it's like Dave
idea.
Chappelle on crack.
It's idea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
idea battling.
Yes, where's the entendres?
Yeah, it's me seeing idea battling. I mean,
Right.
like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm Weapon X, Wolverine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think there's a ton of battlers that would do well in it. I know Uno Lavos has tried to do a couple of them too.
Yeah.
He always does the ones that MODOK does. He's like doing the comedy thing though.
I could see that.
Yeah, it
I could
makes
see that
sense.
for sure. Carter's been killing it. I know he's like
Carter
done
is
multiple
definitely,
dates.
and he's definitely him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He is his hilarious, likable, awkward self. Even his jokes are great too. I love it. I even the photo jokes that he like posts on Insta and shit.
Yeah.
He's hella funny.
Word plays.
Yeah, exactly.
That fool's hilarious. Yo, he's a deep thinking individual too.
He's
He had
great.
some spiritual conversations.
I was so happy that Kyle and him watched me versus QP because I know that he's like a huge QP fan to begin with, and just like watching him react to it's like my favorite thing ever, bro.
We watched me and him on there too.
Yeah?
Just not without him, just me.
Word?
Yeah, just me and like
Wow.
Ronnie. Well, now it's Drunk Red Hat.
Drunk Red Hat, hell yeah.
Me, Young Ken and
Shout out to Ronnie.
Huh?
Yak the Ripper.
Yeah.
Oh, and Yak. Word.
Yeah. That's fire. Someone asked like a interesting, like if you've had any interesting like experiences like being recognized like in random places or something
Hell,
like that.
random It's happened so many strange places. A Build-A-Bear store with my daughter once.
What?
Yeah, she was like 7 or 8. We're in a Build-A-Bear store, and these two military dudes come in like full uniform, and I'm just like standing there, just like, yeah, pick out whatever you want, Tay, you know. And she's looking at her Build-A-Bear, and then like this guy behind me, who's like, you know, a few inches taller than me, they're both just like giant soldiers. Like, excuse me, man. Like, I'm sorry to bug you, but like, do you think we might be able to get a photo with you? And I'm just like, in the Build-A-Bear store? And they both like hella laugh. They're like,
we're
maybe.
big Saved by the Bell fans.
Like, dude, do you still talk to Jesse Spano? I was like, nah, man, it's all good. No, but yeah, we stepped outside of the store and like took a pic right up. Yeah, it was hella funny.
At the Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, super random.
I mean, it's got to happen at like poker, like
Poker all the
casinos and
time.
shit,
It
right?
there's so much of the poker community that follows the battle world in general. Like, I've become friends with players that I've looked up to for years and have found out that like the biggest names in the world watch. Like Danny Negreanu, who we were talking about earlier, who's probably like one of the most famous players in the world, period. Definitely the most famous Canadian player. But
Negreanu's incredible. I watched the hand where he called the player's hand and folded
does it all the time.
nearly the nuts.
Oh, yeah,
like the
probably
second,
like a
and he's
small
like,
full
and he
house or something
broke down
stupid.
why he's got it and everything. It's like a clip on YouTube.
He
of
thinks
just, like,
out loud.
Negreanu,
His deductive
like, folds
reasoning.
down
It's
or
the best.
folds a fucking crazy. I can't remember. what
He's
his
really
term, but
good
yeah.
at hand raging and at like calling people's specific hands out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, I mean, part of that, like, he is amazing at it. There's no question. Part of that is it's not as hard to do as it looks once you've played enough. It really is like he's guessing correctly in a hand. It's like one of 4 hands that it probably could be in a lot of these spots that he's definitely guessing correctly. His head's always in the right spot, and I'm definitely not like slighting him. But 4 or 5 years ago, he was following me on Twitter, and like on my first Twitter account, 5 Twitters ago,
It was four score and 3
7
Twitter
Twitters ago.
accounts. Yeah.
So he knew who I was, though. Like, I talked to him on there, and he was like, oh, yeah, I've actually seen your battles. I didn't know you were a poker player. And then I chopped it up with him at the World Series, like, during a tournament. Well, I was just, like, walking around on break, and he was in a different tournament. And he, like, saw me walking around, and he was like, what's up, son? I was like, nothing, man. What's going on with you? And he was just like, yeah, you know, just trying to stack chips like a boss, something, you know, some funny shit. I'm just like, word, right on. And then I found out through another high stakes pro, Scott Seaver, who plays like some of the biggest games in the world as well. There was like a hilarious instance of Talib Kweli on Twitter calling like a group of poker players Nazis or racists or whatever he was calling white
Whatever
people that
dumb
day.
shit. He's the worst to follow on Twitter.
I can't even do it. I can't
Nobody
do it.
want to see it like a Talib Twitter rant.
So,
Shout out
so
Tyler.
he's calling like this handful of poker players Nazis and this and that. So I lightly interject. I'm like, yo, man, like, I've known a handful of these people for like a decade or so, and these are definitely not like Nazis or racists or anything along those lines. And he's just like, whatever, Nazi lover. Like, goes off on me too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, have a good one. But through that, this dude, Scott Seaver, he, I guess, saw the whole exchange Talib was having, and he goes, the funniest thing about this whole Talib poker community beef is that I just found out the Saurus is connected to poker, so now I'm, like, back watching KOTD battles. So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I had no idea that you watch battles. And he goes, oh, yeah, Ivy put me on to you and Disaster a few years ago. Yeah. And then I'm just like, and then Prahlad Friedman, who's another like pretty well-known pro, who actually makes a bit of music too. He's a rapper. He lives out in LA. But he's definitely known as a poker player. He like messaged me somewhere else and he was like, oh yeah, Ivy might be like the biggest battle fan in poker,
Ivy, that's
which is
so
insane.
sick.
Yeah, that's like an actual goat. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And Prahlad was like, yeah, he might be one of the actual biggest like battle fans in poker.
That's sick.
But there's so many like heads that I've become homies with that are either like bracelet winners or WPT winners or just like monster pros who I've looked up to as a player for years. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't you do a?
I did a poker themed battle at WSOP.
At the World Series.
During the main event. And Bruce Buffer hosted it. I'm the only battle rapper in the entire... Me and my boy Assassinato, the poker player I battled.
You hear that?
We are the only players in the world, or only battlers in the world, who were introduced for a battle by Bruce Buffer. It was the tightest shit ever.
That's crazy.
He was like, are you ready to rap? It was tight. But straight up, like, gave me the full...
Let's get ready to multi!
He was like straight up belted out my name, Pete the Saurus.
Did you give him? Did you dap him?
Afterwards, I like shook his hand and
during,
thanked him.
like when he
No,
introduced.
I should have. I should have.
Well, no. There's supposedly a curse. Or wait,
A curse?
It's his brother.
Oh, he
Bruce
lose-
Buffer's the original.
Bruce
right?
Buffer's
Michael
Buffer. is the
Okay, so
original.
he does
Michael
UFC
is,
as well, right?
Yeah, Bruce Buffer does UFC.
There was like a curse.
Michael is Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Yes,
Bruce
yes.
is UFC. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Bruce
Yeah,
works out of my gym.
Bruce plays
That's
poker
right.
as well. He's like he plays a ton of poker.
yeah. There was like
That's
some
how we got
curse
him.
that-
He was playing the main event, and the filmer for like the camera guy for Bluff Magazine was like, "Oh, I should go ask him if he'll like do an intro for you guys while they're on dinner break because they get 90 minutes." So he went over and Buffer agreed to do it. And then the most baller part is after he does it, and we like thank him, and I was like, "Yo, man, that's like legitimate bucket list material to be announced by you for anything." And he goes, "Oh, no problem at all." He goes, you seem like nice guys. Sometimes you got to throw out the 5-figure freebie every once in a while." I was like, "Okay, you're the biggest boss of all time. Now go enjoy your dinner, sir." You know
That's
what I'm
fire.
saying? Like, how much of a savage do you have to be? You seem like a nice guy. I just did something that was probably worth $50,000 for you.
That's so sick.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
Such a boss.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was an
man.
entirely poker themed battle too. And there's like players that I've referenced
Was it like
in that
3 rounds?
3 rounds
Like,
of poker themed battle. Yeah.
acapella?
Yeah.
At the World Series.
Yeah.
That's
Like
crazy.
it filmed in front of the like ESPN feature table, the mothership, the
Yeah,
ESPN
yeah.
final table. Yeah.
That's wild.
The dude who won the main event, not this most recently, but the year before, is like a battle fan too. Scott Blumstein.
So there's a lot of poker references within and
Oh yeah,
and
tons. And like, there's players who I referenced in the battle who I've like become cool with since then because they like either saw it or I asked them if they saw it and then they watched it. You know what I'm saying?
that's sick.
Yeah, it's
It's
dope.
online.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
yeah. The dude's name's the Assassinato. It's pretty dope. I had a couple lines that are like, for poker heads, they are insane. Absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
That's crazy. That's a whole
I
different
had some fire
environment.
rounders bars. I had a couple of good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some Teddy KGB shit. Yeah, it was tight.
Leave your blood splat, kill you in the kitchen. Leave your blood splashing in the pot like.
No, I said
a fish.
something about it. Now I'm rushing to the cage like Teddy KGB or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty tight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they call the cashiers called the cage, of course, where you get your chips. Yeah, I had some insane. There was this kid, JJ Prodigy, who was a player who got like banned from online when he was 17 or 18 because he was like multi-accounting. He was too young to play. So he was signing up. He signed up under an account that was like under his grandma or whatever, and then he like shipped. He had like 100K score when the kid's fucking 17 under his grandma's account. So I had this line, and JJ Prodigy is also like good friends with the dude who I battled, and so I had this line. I was like, he's eager for an upswing. his play ain't profiting, so he thought he'd raise the stakes and get a payday off of me. But if he won today, that'd be a grade A robbery, just not on my account like JJ Prodigy. And yo, like, it was all poker players watching it, and like you could feel it's like the illest poker line probably that's been put together. It was pretty ridiculous.
That's hella tight.
Yeah, it was clean. And I played with the kid JJ Prodigy, Josh Fields, like since then. I like one time I was like, yo man, you know you're like part of like maybe the best poker related rap line ever. He's like, yeah, I know. He was like kind of like meek about, you know. He was just like, yeah, I don't really like being like known for the multi-account thing or whatever. He's like, but you didn't like diss me, so you know.
He's like, so we don't gotta run the fade or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have had a line where it's like some bar this cat'll respond to.
Daniel Negreanu.
Ran up on you with my homie and let the kid poker like Daniel Negreanu.
I had something about how I could play any hand that I want to, like Daniel Negreanu, or something like my reads are so strong I can play any hand that I want to, like
run
Daniel
up on him
Negreanu.
and his girl.
And then there was also the dude who I battled lost this like infamous hand on like the WPT or on the PokerStars Caribbean against a chick named Shawan Liu, which rhymes with Negreanu. So I said something about Daniel Negreanu, and then I was like something about how that was the wrong move, kind of like your PCA hand was Shawan Liu or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then because the hand he basically spazzed off all into her with like 50 big blinds with King 10 offsuit, which is it was just a bad play, whatever it was. And okay, so shortly before the battle, there was a scandal at Borgata Casino in New Jersey where a player or a couple of players were in on a chip scandal where they made fake chips that like looked like tournament chips.
Yeah.
So there was a huge scandal over. They froze the tournament, ended up freezing it at like 20 players, and the money all got like chopped chip stack wise. They didn't play the tournament out because too much of it was compromised. But they caught the person who was making them, and he was they like found out what room he was staying in, and he was trying to flush the chips down his toilet in his room.
'Cause that'll work.
And they got stuck in there, so that's how he got caught. So I had a line about that. I had a line that ties into it all. I was like,
genius.
I'm like 50 blinds with King 10. That's a lot to I was like, that's a lot to mishandle. But you were a 3-2 underdog, so it's not a big gamble. Me, I'm Uncle Jesse. Full house got you dismantled, and you're stuck with a flush like Borgata's chip scandal.
Damn.
Stuck with a flush? What? Bro. Yeah, it was fire. Super fire.
You're like, yo, take him for the whole pot. Raise him out the gate and watch him fold. Shout out, don't flop.
I had some really tight shit. It was fire.
That's sick. Nah, that's hella tight. Fucking. That's another thing is like themed battles. Wasn't there another? Wasn't there like a Marvel themed battle or video game themed battle?
Didn't
Like
Feral and Daylight that were like Superman and Batman. Yeah. Oh yeah, that wasn't really a theme. They just
they just celebrated Halloween early.
That battle's super entertaining though.
I don't think I remember that.
It actually is. Diz had his Halloween event. I remember that. That was
the theme
shit.
Yeah. It was like Jesus
versus the devil. That's like probably the best one from that event.
Eminem versus
Diz.
Eminem
versus Disaster. Because Diz was Eminem, and the fan was Diz.
And who else was on that? Raphael versus
Shredder and Danny
Myers versus
Copy was actually pretty tight as Shredder too.
Yeah, he was.
That had Caddy versus Daylight, the Malcolm X KKK. Oh yeah, the Caitlyn versus Bruce. Yeah, I remember that too.
Oh yeah, with No Shame.
Yeah, and Roan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty. It's like it runs the line of gimmicky, but like if done right, it's hella entertaining. You know what I mean?
For a Halloween event,
I think perfect.
It worked perfect.
Yeah, I just mean themed battles. Yeah. Like I think it could be super interesting, and it's like one of those things. It just depends on execution.
Yeah. Oh, of course, and setting, of course. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be like the right crowd has to be there.
Yeah.
It can't be a crowd who's like, "Where the bars though?"
Right? Yeah. Run that shit back. That shit's fire. Man.
Yo, and Twerk versus Suge, I just watched that like the other night, and there was like a part where Twerk says something. Yeah, Twerk says something insane. The crowd like erupts, and Nunu's like, you need to run that part back. He's like, I ain't running shit back. They ain't get it. They ain't get it. And I was like, yo, I just right there became a fan of you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Twerk is nice.
He has like moments that are insane.
Yeah, have you seen him in chess?
He was really good that entire battle. He was really good. That was a good 3-round performance. Chess was good for like the second round, especially.
Took the second decisively for sure. But yeah, that was a great performance.
There was still parts. There was
the chess.
There was one line that Chess said.
It was like a Halloween line or something.
There was one of them that had some line that was like such forced wordplay, and then he whoever it was, they like said it. No one reacted, of course, and so of course they shook their head themselves.
Oh, was it? It was Mortal.
I don't remember.
Show up with more tools or something like that.
I don't remember what it was, but then one person in the crowd's like, "That was crazy," and I'm just thinking to myself, like, just because a thing can sound like another thing doesn't make it crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it can play both ways, then yeah, go for it. But it was one that definitely didn't play more than one way. And just one dude, that was crazy. I'm like,
I was kicking it with Carter. I might even mention this before, but like he was hella. We were just talking about battle rap and shit in general, and he's making hella good points. He's like, from a literary standpoint and like writing, like battling's kind of the most advanced in the different literary tools that it uses, and the whole format is like, is a step further than fucking Shakespeare and classic sort of,
because we're incorporating slang,
poetry, colloquial, everything. The way it ties in is kind of like the most advanced form of, like literature and poetry, and kind of pushing the limits of how you can manipulate language and shit. It's pretty super crazy. Facts. Yeah,
especially when you think about like what what QP does. When you think about that, you're just like, holy shit! Like he sees language in a different way than the rest of us do. That's just how it is. I think Chilla, it's the same thing, because I feel like those two are like definitively the best at doing what they do and what so many others try to poorly copy. You know what I'm saying? They do it in a way where it makes sense to them both ways, and they make it make sense. But you know what I'm saying? Like, QP is the fastest though. It's like he's a computer, bro. You can just say a sentence to him, and he's gonna break it down.
Yeah, it's like he's already dividing the words up.
He sees
visually.
It's like a graph or some shit. It's crazy the way his mind works, man.
Yeah.
And he's still
is a hell of a drug.
And he's still doing it at a high level, which is crazy too. To be doing
all that rebuttal shit against Chill at a high level, and at them rebuttals and shit against Chilla were crazy. He's had several.
That's like one of my favorite performances of his. And I like the cage match he had with JC on Guerrilla Warfare. Yeah. That shit is super fire, man. Even recently, he battled Young Cannon recently, and his performance is fucking amazing. He has a whole round where where he's just kneeling down talking to his Cannon's shoes, because it's on some like what are those type shit, and then he closes it off by saying it has something to do with sneak dissing, but it's bro, it's fucking.
I don't think I've seen that.
Avo, you should slap that on a watch sometime. QP versus Young Cannon.
Oh yeah.
Came out sort of recently too. It's a pretty new battle, and both of them cook in it too. QP is so entertaining.
Do it after this.
QP is so entertaining.
That's fine. Are there any questions before we wrap this up?
I pretty much asked most of them.
Yeah.
There's one that I don't really get. I mean, you can answer it if you want, Pete. I mean, I don't know anything about poker.
Oh, okay, it's a poker question. Clearly.
Do you like the stuff around poker, like the stories in Alvarez, biggest game in town?
What?
Alvarez, biggest game in town?
Alvarez? I don't know.
Maybe it's I don't know what he's talking about, but I think he's talking about just shit that surrounds like stories, and maybe he's referencing a movie or a book or something.
It's possible.
Probably an author, but a wrestler, yeah. But one thing that I found hella interesting, I want to say maybe it's like on one of the DVDs or maybe it's you talking about, but it's like prop betting, like at casinos and at big tournaments and shit. I remember you telling me about like
side betting.
Ivy and like
Ivy betting thousands on the color of flops and shit. Whether a flop's gonna be black or red dominant, or whether it's gonna be all of one, different prices based on if it's all of one color. Or if it's more dominant towards red or black, yeah.
So you can do that at the table, just bet on random shit with someone next to you.
Ivy just like sits with like a journal and he's just like marking down points.
That's crazy.
Those dudes are insane.
Weren't you telling me like was that Greenstein and Ivy or some other fools prop betting on like on a break, like what raindrop on the window would reach the bottom? And thousands of dollars. Racing raindrops down a windowsill and like betting thousands on it.
Yeah. Pick a drop and fuck it, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, anything.
You can bet on anything.
Max level degeneracy.
The best time I had watching a football game is betting dollars on every single play. Like I can't remember at my mom's. There's someone we're drunk as another better, and we're just on every like snap be like incomplete, dollar. Like all right, I'll take it.
That's amazing.
Or like interception, whatever. And
you
so
can actually
every snap,
there's a betting site where you can do that now. It's an app, but it's live betting.
Really?
You can literally play by
prop
play
bets on whatever.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Play for play.
Yeah,
it's nuts because they always have those wild props for the Super Bowl. Like what play is going to be first call to the game? Who's going to score first? Is their jersey number going to be over under 44 or whatever the fuck? Mm-hmm. Like there's so many different prop bets that you can do. And now that sports betting's legal, the door for that is going to open so much more. Sports betting being legal now is fucking crazy. It's good. I mean, I guess.
I love gambling, man.
I don't mind it.
I love gambling. Like that on just doing that on like football, like just play by play, throwing dollars down. Like you could do that with any sport.
Yeah, that's
just
insane.
Like throw random shit out.
I feel like football's the best that you can do it because of like the time, the pacing, between plays.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's hard to baseball. I guess you could do outcome per at bat for sure.
Yeah, just.
Basketball is
that's like
impossible.
Slow motion.
Basketball, hockey is like impossible though. It's too fast.
Yeah, well, you'd have to bet on like up to the next timeout, score spreads, or fucking obviously.
I mean, people bet on quarters and shit like that. You can bet first quarter, first half, things like that.
Yeah, fouls.
Yeah,
shit like
There's
that.
Insane
violate free throws.
I put a couple of bets in before the NBA season started on just total team win totals because there's certain teams that I just feel like are like a lock to win more games or less games than they're projected.
Yeah.
The Raptors, for some reason, the Raptors were only like 51.5, which I think is a lock over because the East is so soft.
Yeah.
The Bulls are like 28.5 wins. I think the over on that is it's too easy to get there. I took the Spurs 44.5 wins because they haven't won fewer games than that in like fucking 15 years.
Right.
And I stayed away from the Warriors because it feels like a trap. It's like 65 or 67 or some bullshit, and you just don't know.
Tough,
you don't know if they're gonna play all their starters every single night.
That's
Right now they're playing otherworldly.
Yeah.
Steph Curry especially, it's a freak of nature team. That team.
Yeah.
But the Celtics are gonna give them a run. For sure. Celtics will be the second best team.
You got the pennant, man.
Yeah.
Just be happy.
Getting greedy, bro. Gotta get greedy.
Yeah, Warrior. I mean, no one's seeing the legacy. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
The titles.
Oh,
the Celtics.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Like, what is it?
They have 17 or 18 championships. Yeah, the most decorated.
Legacy. Who's closest? The
Lakers are 1
right?
or 2 behind. Yeah.
Yeah. And that rivalry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now it's hopefully going to be reawakened now that LeBron's back in L.A. I'm definitely going to come out here for the Celtics game in L.A. Like, no question.
Yeah.
Have to. You
Yeah.
know? Probably the Clippers game, too.
Yeah.
Might as well. I'm going to go to the Suns game for sure. Try to catch as many as I can. It's fucking worth it.
Well, why doesn't Vegas have a team?
We got the Raiders Stadium under construction right now.
I see that foreshadowed in Ballers.
I feel like with the Rock.
Yeah. That shit is fire.
That show's all right.
No, it's cool.
I
But
feel like
The Rock is fire.
The first
though.
season
He's
was
tight.
yeah. The Rock's the G. The first season was fire. I feel like
And his
I'm
little white sidekick.
right now. I feel like I'm plot committed. Yeah. Oh, he's tight. That dude's hella funny.
Plot committed.
Yeah, it's like
That's
exactly.
tight.
That's like when a show, when
Yeah,
you've seen the
yeah.
first few
I
seasons,
finished it.
you know the show's falling off, but you're like, I gotta see how it ends. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like Dexter or some shit.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
plot.
yeah.
I was
That
plot
was
committed
tough.
to that. Oh, it was the worst.
That was tough.
That was the worst.
It
fall
fell
off
after
The-
what, second?
After
or
Trinity.
The
After the Trinity killer.
Right.
Whatever season
Yeah.
that was, third or fourth.
Yeah.
Because Trinity
Got
was
bad.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then it got terrible.
With old boy.
Deb lost her mind.
That was such weird season. What are you watching now?
Better Call Saul's incredible.
Fuck, I'm hella behind on this season.
You need to catch up.
Yeah,
you need to
yeah.
watch because it's like
just this season. I've watched like the first like 2 episodes.
so many
I think.
gems of like.
It's just starting to tie back
exactly.
in.
Oh,
With
it's about to cross because Gus and like you get to see
Mike,
Hector before he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Mike's like one of my favorite characters to begin with.
Yeah.
I actually just recently like started rewatching Breaking Bad too because it's just so fucking good. Bro.
Yeah. I watched it a couple times all the way through.
It is so good. The new season of The Deuce is lit.
Yeah, I finished that.
Yo, the show that follows it that just started, there's only a few episodes, called Camping. It's a comedy.
I just started that.
It's
I'm up to date on that.
fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It's hella funny.
With
the dude with the beard is who like used to write for Conan and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The white dude with the beard with the like piano teeth, basically.
Yeah, what's her name?
Lewis is in it.
Yeah, she's
Jennifer
she's
Gardner
hilarious.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yo, Juliette Lewis is hella funny in
funny,
it.
yeah.
The whole cast dynamic though is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny so far. Anything I trust most HBO programming for sure.
Yeah, they're solid as fuck.
They pretty consistently kill it.
They're solid as fuck.
I think something just like ended on there. It must have.
Yeah, the Deuce just ended.
Yeah.
I thought I loved that series was really
it's
tight.
dope as fuck.
What else did I watch on there was another series I feel like I just finished that was Super Flames.
Did you fuck with Fargo?
I never got into Fargo, really.
It's amazing.
Fuck, I've heard that a lot
Coen
too.
Brothers. It's amazing. Yeah.
Damn.
It's so good. And each season is completely separate from the other. Like each season tells one individual story. They're not like interlinked.
That's tight.
Yeah.
No, I've heard that a lot since it came out,
It's
and I just
fucking
haven't
amazing.
pulled the trigger.
It's so good, bro.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on,
You
man.
already know, my
Hell
guy.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, see,
Make
fuck
sure
around and get a
y'all,
watch popping off. I got you. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Follow twitch.tv/the Saurus wins. I'm trying to get the channel as popular
How
as
often
possible.
do you stream?
3-4 days a week on average, sometimes more. I'll be streaming probably tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday night maybe, but Sunday is like a chaotic day as far as tournaments and football, and I have like multiple fantasy leagues, daily fantasy sports with like DraftKings and shit, and fucking usually some football bets too.
Yeah.
NFL Sundays are always an active day for me.
Right.
They're always like a potential year saver
Yeah.
or year maker. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, shit, sports.
True.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
It's good.
you. Brett. Shout out my
Holy
riders.
Father, grow sunflowers in total darkness. Got a dungeon, it's underground for tortured artists. All my demons get along. They tell me trust your instincts, even when they're wrong. Treachery amongst friends, you could read it in your palm, cutting off your right hand like a thief in the Quran. Yeah.